Hello? You should be able to hear us now. Sorry about that. Just forgot to actually enable the audio source. And thank you very much, Harry, for that. Smooth moves, of course. Gareth Allen standing in for George Morgan. Maybe not quite the professional broadcast that we normally have, but we'll give it our best shot. I'm alongside Badgerman, and we had an excellent Grand Prix last time. It's round 2, season 2, the Mexican Grand Prix today. We had Sakir last time out, Alex Gillen becoming our first repeat winner. There's a chance he may be racing yet today still. We're still looking to see if we can get him in. But Badgerman, how are you doing? How did you find last week's race?
I found last week's race very interesting, in part because I was involved in a different capacity. For those of you who don't know, you may have seen it, I wasn't there last week. But I kind of was, just not in the commentary booth. I was actually engineering curbs through his chat. The video result of that you will likely get to see over the course of the upcoming week. It's still being edited as we speak, and very much looking forward to how that's going to be received. But he did get points for the first time in his Creator Series career, so I would say I did a decent job, he did a decent job, and happy days all around. Now, this week, Mexico, a very different track to Bahrain, I have to say. It has long straights just like Bahrain, but these slow sections, I think they're the ones that are going to get the drivers... they're going to give the drivers trouble, let's call it that. The one thing people, I think, just don't realize as much about Mexico is, as much as it's a high-speed track, it's a low-speed track. It's very extreme. You have the long straights, 330... 340 kilometers an hour, and then you've got these slow sections where you do 60, 70, 80, 90 kilometers an hour. You're going into the double digits for a long time as well. And it's the one circuit, actually, where the average lap speed in kilometers per hour for the lap record is under 200 kilometers an hour, and it's not a straight circuit. Obviously, Monaco and Singapore are slower, that goes pretty much without saying, but this is the only track that isn't a straight circuit where you have less than 200 kilometers an hour on average over a whole lap with the IRL Formula 1 lap record. So
that is a fantastically niche fact. That is fantastically niche. I love it.
It is, but what it means is strap in for a long race. Get your snacks ready now. Don't wait. It's going to be a long one. Yeah,
well, of course, qualifying coming up first. We'll have the 3 stages of qualifying. And Curbs getting a point last time out. Just want to go back to what you said at the start. I said in the commentary he was doing really, really well. And just the strategy right at the end, those safety cars throwing it out. I'm just going to go through the results of last week's race. It was Alex Gillen who won, of course, taking the first double win of the season. Not of the season, of the Cold Creator Series, not including the first lot. We ignore that stuff. So, Rutanius, or as you say, Jarek van Greffen, he did an incredible job, absolutely incredible job. Maybe a little bit lucky with that last lap collision from Tiamat Marduk. What do you think between those two co-op career mode rivals? What do you think we can expect today if Alex Gillen does manage to join into the session?
I think more fighting is what we can expect. We know from their co-op career, we know from the Creator Series clashes between the two, that they are pretty much on each other's pace. I think it sort of varies a bit from circuit to circuit. Sometimes Tiamat Marduk's better, sometimes Alex Gillen is better, but overall they're pretty much on equal pace, and it comes down to strategy, and it comes down to the battling on track. So I think we're going to get to see more of that today. But I was listening around the paddock a little bit, and I don't think that is the only rivalry, not even close to the only rivalry we're going to have. One that's also near the top. I don't actually think one of the two drivers is here today. Let me check just to make sure. No, he should be here. He's just not in the lobby yet. It's Bushy Ants and Justwan Ali. Justwan Ali has been saying that he wants to, and obviously that's going to be a bit jokingly, but he wants to take out at least 5 drivers, and he wants to make sure that Bushy is definitely one of them. Otherwise, he will be disappointed.
Whoa.
I think there's a rivalry there between the two. For Ali to bring up the name Bushy, on his own, I didn't prompt him to say that. For him to bring up Bushy as the sort of rival he has his eyes set on. It's very interesting. I think those two drivers we're going to see quite a bit of on track today as well.
Yeah, the grippy one versus the just one coming together on track, maybe once again. Of course, they came together last time. I was doing the lead commentary, actually, in China, and on the final lap, coming together at the final corner. They may be coming together again today. We'll see what happens on track through that first difficult set of corners, 1, 2 and 3. It's going to be quite tricky on the start, of course, because it's a very long run down to turn 1 here. Do you think there's going to be some hero moves into the corner, or do you think there's going to be some absolute fallouts and squabbles between our creators?
You have to remember, it's 71 laps. It's likely going to have at least a safety car or two. If you're a driver who actually intends to dive into turn 1, yeah, I can't help you at that point. You shouldn't do that. I think turn 1 with that heavy of a braking zone is going to be all about survival. It's just making sure that if there is carnage with other cars, that you're not involved in it, that you drive around it, maybe take a runoff area or something. Ideally, try not to get a penalty, of course, but, just stay away from it. So I think we're going to see a couple of cars taking exit roads, taking the shortcut over the grass into turn 3. And, yeah, we might see some carnage, but I hope it's not going to be too much. I hope the drivers are all going to be well behaved.
Yeah, and a fact that's often repeated at this circuit is, of course, we are 2,200 metres above sea level. Super lack of downforce because of that, because the air doesn't run through. Also tricky with the slipstream. How is that kind of reflected in the game, and do we expect to see cars struggle out there because of the altitude that we are racing at today?
So, I've been actually running a couple of tests regarding, straight line speed, etc. And is there a difference between the circuits in terms of elevation change and thinner air? And what I found is not really. As much as the higher air, the 2,200 meters above sea level, affects the cars in reality, in the game that's not quite as reflected. So if you run the same setup at Mexico and let's say Monza, you're going to reach the same top speed despite vastly different air pressures, and yeah, a bit disappointing personally. But at the same time, the drivers don't have to think about that, and that's a good thing, I would say. They can focus on finding the best setup they can find, and racing it, and just driving and not having to worry about potential engine temperature. Remember, that's a thing that teams constantly struggle IRL in Mexico as well. Because the air is thinner, less cooling, therefore it's easier for the engines to overheat. Plus, again, as I said, they have the high speed where the engine is fully revving, and then they have the low speed sections where the engine doesn't get enough air to actually, be able to cool itself properly. So the drivers don't have to think about that. It's all going to be fine. And apparently, they don't have to think about something else either, and that's going to be the weather. I think it's going to be sunny. They're still going to use the intermediates, of course. We're going to have the intermediate championship as always. But they don't have to worry about the weather. I just saw that on my screen. It's going to be sunny all throughout. So that will not spice things up, but I think the drivers definitely will.
Yeah, of course, we have our first few cars out there. We have the picture-in-picture commentary set up. And hello to everyone in chat. Jasper saying up the bushy. F1 Deeper putting in a cool cat emoji. And Tamil NC saying here for the Gareth Allen lactose-free vocals. So, yeah, that's basically, I was at an ice creamery today. And I said, no, I'm not going to have any ice cream. Because it affects your voice, doesn't it, in a weird way. So, I'm not going to do that. As we see Safso skipping the corner at turn 4, and we're going to jump over to our coverage really soon, but he's one who's actually struggled in every one I've broadcast. He's had a difficult race, of course, 7th in China, difficult race last time out in Bahrain. Wonder if he can break the curse of me, or whether he'll succumb to the pressure once again. But of course, our reigning champion didn't score any points last time out. But it was 18 points for his team. Oh no, it wasn't 18 points. It was 10 points. Sorry, for his teammate. It should have been 18 points for teammate Marduk, but didn't do it. But yeah, we'll jump over to the full race screen actually, and talk through this first lap, which is Safso out there pushing.
Yeah, very important here to get a good exit already. The lap starts a bit earlier than you would think. It already really starts in the final corner. You've got to get the exit right all the way down here. It's agonizingly long. Got to get the braking point correct here. Use all the entry that you can legally use. Cut these corners as much as you can. Use all the exit. Very, very crucial there as well for Safso and for everyone, for all the drivers. And then you head down the second straight once again. You want to get the braking point right. And now this is the first of the two agonizingly slow sections here. You accelerate a little bit and then immediately you have to get off it again. Now here, once again, another exit that is crucial. And here, it's all about the track limits. Cut each of these corners as much as one is legal and two, your car allows it. Because these curbs, if your setup isn't right, they bite back. And they bite back hard. Open the DRS and then the second slow section, stadium section here. And braking zone here. Get the car turned around as quickly as you can and get on the throttle. Nurse the car through there a little bit, and final corner, and you want to go narrow here to reduce the distance that the car travels and to get to the line the quickest you can. And a 1:19.7 for the intermediate championship posted by Safso here.
Yeah, absolutely. That seemed to be a very quick time. Actually, fastest in the first and final sector of all. Fastest through the middle sector, crossing over the line now. That's Oisin in F1. Oh, I'm going to call him Oisin. He is going into second position there, fastest through the middle sector with his time. Tiamat Marduk has actually backed out of a lap out there, so not enjoying the pace there, and sets a fairly slow lap. We'll switch over so we can actually see the times. But yeah, some decent times coming in for the Intermediate Championships. It was a bit of a shambles last week. People completely forgot about it. But the Intermediate Championships seeming to be back in full force here.
Yeah, thankfully. It's always a bit of entertainment at the very start of the broadcast, and I gotta say, if I was a viewer and not a commentator, I wouldn't want to miss it because it gives you a very good idea already of who's going to be on the pace. Being able to nurse the intermediates around the lap with them obviously overheating is very much a thing that reveals a bit of race pace, in my opinion. So, being able to put the car near the top in those conditions should bode well for the race.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our times on the board there, and it's actually a very similar time. It's exactly the same time from Oisin.
Yeah.
So that is incredible. I didn't quite pick up on that. That is incredible. I think that's the second week in a row that we've had something along those lines, and we of course saw it in qualifying last week at Bahrain. So it is certainly something that can happen. But Tiamat Marduk out there, and we have Rasin Shai retire from the session. So I wonder what's happened to him.
Just Ali as well. I think they have both crashed in the stadium section. We can try and go on board with Tom and P16 right now. My goodness,
there is a
car park.
big problems there. Big problems, and Tom having to maneuver his way through a very tricky situation. Cars crashed out as Rasin Shai and Just Ali, so the Ferrari and Alpine drivers not involved with the rest of qualifying here. Presumably they will start from the back.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if Kerbs and Infratig and Taco are going to post any kind of lap time, they're going to start from P18 and P19. Remember, we don't currently have Alex Gillen in the lobby, so kind of waiting for him to jump in for the race. But yeah, that's a wild one. I've not seen cars in that kind of scenario before in the stadium sections being completely crashed out. Remember, it is the slowest part of the circuit, so I'm very surprised to see two cars crashing in Q1 at the start of Q1 there.
Yeah, it must have been quite forceful if it was enough to cause terminal damage to two cars. As you say, a very unusual situation. I'm sure that will all be posted on the socials, F1 Creator Series, across socials. If you want to get involved with those, clip what you like from the commentary and the action today, and it could be involved with our studios, our socials. So absolutely do that, and of course, give us a follow if you haven't already. We're here every week until the end of the F1 22 game, really, and we have action all the time. Saudi Arabia next week, but of course Mexico today. Liam, who is in 8th position, 1.4 seconds off on his first intermediate lap. It'll probably be his only intermediate lap. Presume he'll come back into the pits for another set of tyres. Who's that going across the line? Is it Curbs actually putting himself up by Lee, or is he just starting a lap? Curbs starting a lap.
Good question. Curbs right now. Let me wait until the end of the first sector and I can tell you. But it looks like he's just starting a lap on the soft tyre, not the intermediate, as everyone else is supposed, or as everyone is kind of supposed to. And I haven't gotten a sector time from him. That's even wilder. But yeah, no, it is actually a proper lap that he just started. Curbs did. And he's going for it, as I said, on the softs. He has no time to waste, I said, and just wasted not just time, but also the tyres. And a front wing as well. So, very unfortunate, but easy to lose the car there in the air. A couple cars through. That was that guy, Vincent Carbon Shadow, had to go by first. And he will be making his way back to the pits after that mishap right there.
Yeah, very strange one through that section. Of course, very on the limit of grip, and we can see his reaction. He's a bit grumpy. But he'll have time to go in and come out, and probably be missing your engineering this week. Certainly, thank you very much, Harry, and everyone putting clips in to give our viewers a view of what happened between our drivers. But yeah. Curbs returning to the pits there with that front wing damage.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this clip real quick. What happened here between Ali and Razin? There's something going on. Let me just create loading.
Yep. Alex Budd about to cross the line on a soft pair of tyres, and he's going to go over the line, and it's all the way up into first position actually, a 1:18.308. So our first truly rapid time on a pair of softs. Emphatic out there, I believe, in the Red Bull, currently running in 19th position. He is coming through the final section. What happened then? What happened? Talk us through it.
So this, I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It looks very much like a deliberate takeout. I can't, like... I don't even know. Ali was just as surprised as I am seeing this for the first time. And, we also apparently have a clip from Mr. Dale, who must have had a good view on it. I'm going to check that real quick. It looks like Razin just straight went for just one Ali and decided to just take him out. And, gonna see... Oh no! Oh no! Oh, it's worse. It's much worse. So, just one Ali, not just one, my bad. Razin tried to cut the stadium section out to start the lap ahead of just one Ali. And apparently he hit something in that runoff area. An invisible thing or something. It took off his wheel, and his now broken car then slid straight into just one Ali. What? I've never seen this.
Yeah.
Watch this clip. It's in the chat. Dear viewers.
Yeah.
It doesn't
go and
look
watch
like
it.
he hit the wall on exit. It looks like he hit an invisible thing in that runoff area. I can't describe it in any other way. It certainly looks weird. I'll say that much. Wow.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of 70 decent times actually while you've been going through that. Van Geffen has gone to the top of the timing screens. I'm going to butcher his name. He's going to be happy or angry with me butchering it. Rotanius, of course, in the championship. Before that, you'll know him as. He's gone to the top of the timing screens. 1:59.02. Solid pace from him. And up into fourth position went Emphatic. But actually, it's Carbon Shadow in the Alfa Romeo making a return to the Crater Series. He's got up into fourth position. The time's coming in all the time here. And in second position, it's Mr. Dale in the Aston Martin. He's gone up. But actually, Aussie on a decent lap here. Fast us all through the first sector. And he's into second position.
That's Bushy. That's Bushy.
Oh, that's Bushy in second. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why has he got the wrong name? Okay, so it's Bushy in second position.
Yeah.
Okay.
I checked his Steam profile to make sure, because Grippy won, as his name is in on Steam right now.
Okay,
I wasn't
yeah.
sure who that was, but it is
Okay,
Bushy.
yeah. Grippy one is Bushy. I think some jokes about maybe his levels of grips in the game from the other ones, and his a comparison to a rapper who I'd never heard of actually. But yeah, so. For those who are watching, my graphics slightly wrong here. Just replace that with Bushy Ants. Now, I'm sure that's not his fault. I'm sure he was running the correct number last week, so don't know what's happened. I'm going to put that on personal error for myself.
Yeah, meanwhile, here comes Tom with an improvement. Currently P13 after the Intermediate Championship, trying to get his first lap in on softs. And it looks pretty decent. It's going to be around the 116, mid 116 mark. There it is. 116.6, just behind Hayden Gullers by just over half a tenth there. Really close between the two drivers. And a P5 currently for Tom. And Bushy is on his way back into the pits. Let's see who else we got. Dirk has invalidated.
Tim at Marduk on a fast one.
Vince is the next one.
That guy Vince in the AlphaTauri, fourth last time out in his Creator Series debut. A very, very good result for the AlphaTauri driver in a lot of battles, in a lot of scrapes with the likes of Dirk and GB and Emphatic. A lot of battling throughout it all, and yeah, a very good race from him. Let's see if he can cut over the time beam, get himself out of 15th or at the bubble, up into 6th position. Good pace from that guy Vince there.
Yeah, certainly. Good lap there. Should, as things stand right now, should be enough to see him through to the next round. However, with the track ramping up and drivers potentially going for another run, that might not be the end of it. Tiamat Marder coming across the line now. Currently P15. That is about to change P4 as we have both Rutanias and Safzo retiring. They feel like they're safe with a 15.9. I would agree for Rutanias. And a 16.3 for Safzo, respectively. I would actually agree for both drivers that they're probably safe with those lap times. I think cutoff is going to be towards the 117s, maybe in the high 16s. So that guy Vince probably not as safe as he would like to be. But yeah, I think Bushy, GB, and Tiamat Marduk are probably safe to retire the car, and Hayden Gullis and Tom possibly as well.
So question, is Gillen racing? He's not in the lobby yet. You can see at the bottom, 20th position is available. I think when he joins, that will switch over to Gillen. If he can join, Chocolate crosses over the line, and Dirk goes into 9th position. The Red Bull ambassador showing some good pace here, actually. A strong chance of getting out of Q1 here, and something he doesn't always manage to do. Sometimes can get into Q3, but there's been a lot of sweating going on from our drivers, actually. A lot of sweating in the Creator Series, and people wanted to mention this to me beforehand, because it's Jonah Martins has been helping out Ben Daly, of course, Tiamat Marduk. He is a McLaren Esports coach, and we've also had Luke Smith helping out Dale. So yeah, both Sim Racing Centre engineers, and you can of course go to them if you ever want any engineering needs or have any requirements on that base. They're sponsoring this, of course, alongside Grid Finder. So yeah, absolutely get involved with those sponsors. But lots of sweating. The levels of competitiveness have really risen through the 1.5 season that we had before, and season 2. People are turning up to win here.
Yeah, they certainly are. You can tell that they're all competitors at heart. And so the sweating, as you mentioned, it really has ramped up since Season 1. Season 1 felt like it was, you know, the drivers just getting to know each other, just seeing like what kind of levels they can unlock within themselves. And now, Season 2, we have a bit of an idea what the pecking order looks like. And the drivers that aren't near the top of the pecking order, they want to change that.
Yep, and we're going to go and watch Meraki, actually, because he's about to start a lap here. It will be his final lap in qualifying. I don't think he'll have time for another, unless he bails out of this one early. But let's go picture-in-picture and watch this lap. And Hayden Gillis retires from the session. He's in 6th position. He feels he's safe. Drivers on the bubble at the moment. Emphatic on our lap. He's in 15th position. Carbon Shadow also in danger. Meraki in 16th position. He needs a lap here to get out of qualifying 1. Liam also in have struggling. Just Ali out of the session. Raz and Shai out of the session, crashing in the stadium section. And there's a clip in chat if you want to see that. And of course, number 20, that is, I believe, the entry for Alex Gillen. Not yet here. I don't think he will be here. So it's 2 drivers who will get knocked out alongside Ali, Shai and Gillen. And Meraki coming through the first sector split now. Let's see how he does. Currently sitting in 16th position, and he's just behind the time of Bushy Ants in second position. So that's the fastest time of Bushy Ants through that first sector, and could be a nice lap here.
Yeah, it could be. Meanwhile, Mr. Dale has actually equaled Hayden Gullis's time, exact same time between the two, pushing himself up to P7, and therefore I think Mr. Dale should be pretty much safe into Q2 with that kind of lap time. But Meraki, second sector split, it's still looking good. It's not going to be quite P1, I reckon, but it could very well end up being in the top 3, top 4, I think. Possibly P2, in fact, if the final sector's good, which it is not quite, it's P4. But should be safe as well. We have Liam coming across the line. He has gone P10. Tacoman goes across the line, I think, to start a lap. Carbon Shadow has gone P13, saved himself for now. The question is for how much longer. Dirk has invalidated on his out lap, which means his session is over at this point. He has to hope that Carbon Shadow, El Tacoman, Curbs, and Infratic, a maximum of 3 of those 4 drivers improve, not all 4. Alex Budd is out.
Yes,
we know that, and Carbon Shadow cannot improve anymore. So I think Dirk is safe-ish.
Emphatic coming around the final corner now. We'll see if he can jump up the timing screens, and I think improving on his lap. So I expect him to use 15th position. Curbs now at danger. The Williams driver, and he aborts the lobby. Oh, he needs your engineering, Badger. He needs your engineering. Yep. It's absolute proof, isn't it? Unequivocal proof. Badger is a goated engineer. He definitely would have got our Q1 without it, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that I think he used, I don't know how many different compounds he used, but I think he was out for 3 runs, and I would not have advised him to do that. I mean, 1 on the inters, but he used two softs. I would hope that that was the same soft tire twice, but he invalidated that final lap and had to abort, and therefore it made no difference. He is out. But here's the thing, in a 100% race, starting position isn't really that important. Strategy can make up a lot of things in such a long race. So it's not all lost for Curbs, but I reckon he's not going to be happy with this.
Yeah, his Williams teammate Meraki did perform well under pressure at the end there, and he looks a little bit relieved to get through into the session. Of course, he qualified on pole last time out in the rainy conditions at Bahrain, would you believe it? But yeah, it was a very, very good lap from him, and just taking a well-earned refreshment. Let's cycle through some of our drivers out there and try and get the reaction of the drivers. Of course, we have Curbs, who is out of the session, and let's try and get his camera up. Not seeming to come up actually, so that's probably disappeared. But yes, this should be Curbs. Here we are, and Curbs a little bit disappointed. Talking to chat, of course, controller Blaze player, and he is going to be watching the rest of this qualifying session and watching along with us.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's going to have time to strategize, and I would expect my my Discord DMs to blow up any moment now, where he's going to be asking for advice. The thing is, I have actually talked to Curbs before today, during the week, on how to approach this race, what kind of strategies might be worth looking at, and I think he will be able to make some good decisions in this. But we have our 15 drivers that are going through to Q2, and the ones that won't are Curbs, Alex Budd, Juswell Ali, and Razin, as well as obviously Alex Gillen, who wasn't here for Q1, and hopefully he'll make it in time for the race.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, it's It's disappointing, I guess, for those who are knocked out at this stage, but it's a long way to go. 100% racing, of course, in the Creator Series. And let's go over to the picture-in-picture commentary booth, get our faces back involved at the start of this session. But I guess who are you expecting now after seeing the pace through the first session? Who are you expecting maybe not going to make it through to Q3, our top 10 shootout, of course, coming up after this session?
I mean, I'm surprised to even see Infratic's name here. If I think no offense towards Fabio, but I think if just Van Ale and Razin don't crash, Infratic's not making it to Q2. So I got a bit lucky there, but I don't see him coming through to Q3. I think Dirk is a bit on the bubble. I think Liam is a driver who's going to struggle, and it pains me personally to say this because I love him dearly, but El Taco Man is going to... He might make it. He might just come through by the skin of his teeth, but it's going to be around P9, P10 for him. It's going to be a struggle. At best, at worst, it could be P11, P12, or lower down. So a couple of drivers to keep an eye on. I think any driver can be eliminated if they mess up enough times. You got to remember, they only have usually 3 sets of soft tires available to them for this qualifying, which at the end of the day means you mess up one lap, you invalidate on 1 set of tires, and you could hurt your whole qualifying.
Yeah, that is a really big point. And actually, Van Geffen has a huge moment out of the final corner. That's turn 17. He's just about to start his first flying lap here, and of this session, of course. And let's see how he does, of course, in the battle for the win last time out. Never winning in the Creator Series so far. He'd love to be able to put it on pole position here and really lay out his stall for the rest of the season, sitting second in the championship. Because of that, of course, there was contact between Gillen and Tiamat Marduk on the final lap that allowed him to get into second position, but he would have felt without the more contact from Tiamat Marduk that he even had the chance to overtake around the outside at turn 5 here. But through the first sector, it is fastest of all. Meraki actually 3 tenths off him through the first sector, so a quick time here from Van Geffen as he comes through the flying corners of 7, 8 and 9.
Meraki is on intermediates again, though, so
right, okay.
It's not quite fair to compare the two. But GB actually beating Van Geffen here by a 10th of a second already, and Bushy puts another half on top of that. So I think Bushy is once again the driver that we have to keep an eye on for this qualifying, and especially then for Q3. I almost wanted to say if he makes it to Q3, but I think it's more of a when he makes it to Q3. I think it's almost a foregone conclusion. Van Geffen, meanwhile, 16.6. Good lap, was good enough for Q1 to make it through. I think for Q2, that's not quite the best he could do. However, he might be on an older set of tires, at which point a 16.6 is still a very respectable time. GB takes P1 with a 16.4, but we're waiting for Bushy to come across the line. No, 16.5. The middle sector is what cost him. He lost 3 tenths to GB there in the middle sector. That's the S's and the first of the 2 slow sections. And seems like the car didn't have enough downforce, or maybe he had a bit of a moment in that middle sector that cost him. But yeah, certainly not what he wanted to see, as I think the pressure's coming to a lot of these drivers. So let's see what their second run is going to be like later. I don't think we're going to see the drivers have more than 2 runs here in this qualifying session. Maybe, 3 if 2 of them are on dry tires and 1 of them is on inters, like Meraki, Hayden Gullis, Liam, and Tom are doing.
Yep, Dale over the line into 4th position. That was a 1:17 for him, so maybe an older set of tyres for him as well. We saw Hayden Gillis go over the line. He is on a pair of intermediates, 8th position, so not setting a competitive lap time out, and expect that to be beaten. Tom out there also on a pair of intermediate tyres, so taking the intermediate championship into the second round. Talk me through it again for the viewers who weren't there when I asked last time. What is the purpose of going out on intermediates? What is the benefit of doing so?
you set a lap time. You make sure you have something on the board, compared to, as we saw in Q1, just when Ali and Razin, who crashed out without a lap time. So you're at least ahead of them. Plus, if you, you get that lap time without actually sacrificing a proper tire set. You're making sure that the intermediates you're not going to use, and we know this now, they're not going to use it in the race. For today, they're not going to use the intermediates. Even if they were, they have plenty of intermediate sets that it would get them through the race. But, they are not going to need that set anymore anyway. So just use that set. Yeah, you're going to be 2-3 seconds off the pace, but you at least have a lap time on the board. And if your lap time on Inters is better than someone else's lap time on Inters, and they mess up their dry run, you're still staying ahead of them, and you might actually make Q3 on a set of Inters, which would be quite impressive, to say the least, but likely not going to happen. However, again, it saves a set of tires that is going to be ever so crucial once it gets to Q3 in particular.
Yeah, so kind of a safety in numbers kind of affair then, by the sounds of it. The more people set the intermediates, the more chance it has of working out for you. But yeah, interesting to know. Of course, Badger, being an engineer, understands a lot more of the game than your average user. As we see that guy Vince warming up his tyres, but I think completely getting in the way of McLaren. Now, as TM at Marduk, I believe, who got blocked.
He has invalidated anyway. This was his in-lap anyway, so it wasn't that big of an issue. It was probably a bit of a Code Brown moment there for Tiamat Marduk, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It was his in-lap anyway, so didn't hurt him in terms of lap time. Meanwhile, Liam in P12 is about to set another lap on Inters.
Might as well.
Yeah, no, his first lap was bad. He lost 4 seconds, so he decided to do another one just to get a better bank, and it's a 20.2. It is better. It's still P12 though, as Dirk has. Is that no? That's Infratic. For some reason, wait, hold on. No, something's off. Something's off. I'm having a name here. Oh, that's Meraki. Meraki is named GB68 in my telemetry. That's
okay.
Right.
Yeah, Mac is in 9th and GB in first.
That's why I got confused.
Yeah, that guy Vince on a lap at the moment. He's in 14th position, yet to get a time on the board, and coming through the S section at the moment. He's done a 28.583 through the first sector, which is decent pace certainly. But yeah, actually, I think it's very good pace around the time of the fastest sector. But it's 3/10 off of GB68 as he comes through the middle sector, 28.307 for him. But this is very good pace from that guy Vince. And as he comes over the line, I think he could be putting himself up into the top 5 with this lap time. Top four. So the AlphaTauri driver is going to split the timing beam now and
P1,
goes into P1. Yeah, we thought top 5, but top 4 is also right because he got P1.
Yeah, it is very close, as you can see, with GB, Bushy, and Van Geffen. So it all depended on that final sector. What I didn't expect was that Dakavitz was going to go purple in the final sector, which he managed to do a 10th quicker than Van Geffen. However, I think we're going to see another P1. Van Geffen up 7/10 on his own time. This might very well be a 1:15 as it comes across the line. And it is easily a 1:15.7 on new softs, I reckon. This is a laptop you can't do on used tires, so very strong. That is laying down the yardstick right there from Van Geffen. He makes sure everyone knows what kind of pace he has. He is through to Q3. I'm going to make that call right now. Guaranteed he is through into Q3. He just has to make sure he doesn't crash into the wall, because if he does, he would start P10, and he wouldn't want that.
Yeah, and I think Infratic, who is Infratic running well in the middle sector, but he's actually bailed out of his lap, so maybe cutting some corners for that middle sector. Dale out there on a lap at the moment through the first sector. He was fast through the middle sector, 3/10 up on his time, but a little bit away from Van Geffen, as you said. An absolutely stonking time from the SRC owner, and yeah, fantastic pace from him. He's through to Q3 without a shadow of a doubt, even with 5 minutes and 26 seconds to go. Dale goes over the line into 7th position. He'll have to go again, certainly, you'd have to expect. And who else out there on the lap? Tim at Marduk going through the middle sector at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's not the only one. I'm trying to see. Some of the names are screwed up again for me. Yeah, some of the names are definitely screwed up. On my screen, it says that Juswarale is driving. That's not correct. It's GB. Yeah, okay. GB is on his way into the pits, I would assume. So it is just Tiamat Marduk pretty much. Safzo on an in-lap. And Tiamat Marduk has actually invalidated. So that is that. And yeah, I don't think we have anyone on a flying lap. No, we don't. We don't have anyone on a flying lap right now. I mean, GB stayed out. He's going for one. But he just started his lap. And let's see what he can deliver. Already P3, but a 16.4. Not sure he's going to be safe with that one. So he would like to improve. And first sector, 10th up. That would put him up to P2 and a 16.3. But purple, actually, in the first sector. So expect some massive gains, some stonking gains from GB68 here in the middle sector with 4 minutes remaining in the session through the S's. How much curb does he take? The answer is yes. All the curb. Second sector split. 55, 56. The clock is ticking. Only 2/10. Expected a bit more from him there. But he still got the final sector left. And it is a good middle sector. If his final sector is good, then this could very well challenge Van Geffen here for provisional pole. It could certainly be a top 2 easily. Maybe P1, not quite P1. Misses out by a 10th and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. On the pace, though, and probably enough to get through into the next session. We have 3 minutes left on the board, and actually Bushy Ants out there on a lap at the moment in 6th position. I think he may actually just be coming through the first sector towards the first corner for the Mercedes. And yeah, ignore his name on screen. That is indeed Bushy Ants. And I retract, I don't think it was me who made an error. I think it was him, because he's wrong in my telemetry and he's wrong on the app. So and the number he switched to was 69. So highly suspect. Coming through the first sector, he is improving and improving on his own time, but a little bit behind Jorrit van Gechen, who is very, very quick, as we've said. And the Mercedes driver looking to get points on the board after a disappointing result back at Bahrain, getting penalties and getting too frustrated, I think, and throwing in the towel around towards the end of the race. Actually, surprised to see that from Bushy, but a driver who certainly can win in this series. Very, very close through the middle sector, actually on that best lap time. So this could be enough to jump up into the top 3. Certainly, we'll see where it is coming around this final sector. Very neat and tidy from Bushy, and he comes towards the line now. We'll get a split as he crosses over the line, and it is into second position, fastest of all through the final sector.
Yeah, 24 milliseconds, and he lost that and then some in the middle sector. The first sector was faster than Van Geffen, however, not quite purple, because that distinction goes to GB. So now we have 3 purple sectors by 3 different drivers. First sector GB, second sector Van Geffen, and final sector Bushy Ants. So a nice split there, and it should make the race interesting as well, because if we have 3 drivers who are all having their strengths and weaknesses in different spots of the circuit, and they're all near the top, then that should make for plenty of battling throughout the race, hopefully. As we await more drivers, let's see who is going to be next.
Yeah, Tiamat Marduk on a lap at the moment. He's in 10th position and on the bubble, so at risk here. Needs to get a good lap in, otherwise in danger of being knocked down. In the drop zone at the moment, Emphatic, Shadow, Tom, Liam and El Taco. El Taco yet to set a time, but is out there at the moment, so he is a wild card certainly in that bottom few. Actually, all of them you expect could be able to push out of it.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm looking at Carbon Shadow. He's also on a lap right now, currently P12 and would be out. And I didn't mention him at the start when you asked for who would be struggling getting into Q3. I think he definitely is a driver who is going to struggle. I think this might actually be his first Q2 appearance in the Creator Series. So he doesn't see this all too often. And he does improve to P11, but I think that is him out.
Yeah, it's a shame for Shadow, but good to see him in Q2 here. Of course, a reserve driver for this season, and good to see him back in the series. Tiamat Marduk crosses the line up into 4th position. That is relative safety, but it pushes Gullis down, it pushes Dirk Chocolate down, and those two are out there on laps at the moment.
Yeah, and we're only waiting for 3 more drivers. That is, well, we're waiting for a couple more, but 3 drivers in the drop zone, as Infratic in P11 and Carbon Shadow in P12 are guaranteed out. They will not be able to set another lap.
Oh, there's a crash. There's a crash from Gullis. Gullis crashes on his lap, and he is in 11th position. He is out of the session. That is his end of involvement. I don't think it's terminal damage, but he will not be able to set a lap time here, and that is disappointment for the Mercedes driver. He clears off the racing line, and that is a shame.
It certainly is. Here comes Tom, meanwhile, into the final sector. So, we have 3 drivers eliminated already. Taco Man goes up to P9. That is not quite safe yet, but it can be. If Tom or Liam don't improve enough. Here comes Tom across the line. It's P10, and that puts Taco safe into Q3. Here comes Liam. It's Liam or Tom. That is the battle. Maybe Dirk could get involved.
Dirk improving.
I'm not sure. Liam P9 pushes down Taco. Maybe
Tom.
I spoke too soon. Oh no.
Tom out. Tom is out into 11th position. Yeah. Chocolate across the line into 9th.
Taco is out.
A Q3 appearance coming up from Dirk. He's been sweating. He has been sweating, hasn't he? Accuse him straight away. But Taco out here, and that's a shame for the Ferraris. No Ferraris in to Q3 here, and yeah, that is going to be difficult for the Scuderia. Just Ali knocked out in the first qualifying session. Now El Taco not doing enough to get through. 2 tenths being the gap to 10th position, and we have our drivers knocked out of Q2. It's El Taco, Tom, Gullis, Infratic, and Shadow.
Yeah, in all that hurry, I completely lost track of Dirk, but he was still on another lap and pushes El Taco Man down into P11, into the drop zone, and at Dirk's expense, Taco will not see Q3. But we have our 10 drivers that are making it. It's Meraki, Van Heffen, Bushy, GB, Vince, Mr. Dale, Tiamat Marduk, Safso, Dirk Chocolate, and Liam.
Yep, absolutely. So we have, the final qualifying session coming up very, very soon. Confirmation of your results just there, and Dirk Chocolate getting through into Q3. Shame we don't have picture-in-picture today, but I think he's trying to rectify a fault on his end. So yeah, that's the end of that session. I think superb time from Meraki at the end there, just edged out Van Geffen, but Van Geffen said that so early. He has to be a tip for pole position here.
I would think so. It's going to be between the top 3 that you see there, I think, between Meraki, Van Heffen, and Bushy. Those are going to be the 3 drivers to keep an eye on, I think, in the next session of qualifying, in the final session of qualifying. And I don't see really anyone else mixing it up with them. I think GB is a bit too far away. That guy Vince just a bit too far away as well. Maybe if they somehow get an amazing lap together, then there's a possibility, but I find it somewhat unlikely to happen.
Yep, we'll see what happens out there. Both the McLarens through to this session, so good work from Safso and Tiamat Marduk. A very strong driver pairing, of course, first in the championship last year, with third in the championship last year, and I think Tiamat Marduk is eyeing up a chance for a championship this year. I think those 2 are going to be hot shots for the constructors. Bushy Ants and Gullis. Bushy Ants through to the session, but Gullis just failing to make it out of that session. I think he would have had the pace to get through, but hard to tell, of course. But we have the first drivers coming out onto the track for Q3.
We do, and it's Van Heffen who leads the way ahead of Bushy. So 2 drivers that are near the top, that were near the top in Q2, already trying to lay the groundwork here with an early banker lap. I would assume both drivers are on a used set of softs here. So don't expect any blistering lap times just yet. This is where we see the bankers right now. Alex Gillen finally has joined, so he will be there for the race. And but obviously not in Q3, as he, I guess, virtually was eliminated in Q1 by not being there and therefore being P20. But yeah, Van Heffen and Bushy. We have 7 cars out on the circuit right now. with number 8 just leaving the pits. I think that is GB, yes. And we're just waiting for Vince and for Safso, who are chilling in the pit lane right now. They're not making any moves. Might be they don't have any sets of softs left over other than one, and they don't want to waste this. Maybe they like the pressure. Maybe they like the pressure of having one shot, one opportunity to seize everything they ever wanted and get mom spaghetti.
Yeah. I wonder where you're going with that. Can you check?
Yeah.
Did Van Geffen get his lap time eliminated? Because he ran so far over track limits through the stadium.
Nope.
Go on, that's very surprising.
It's still valid. It's still valid.
Well, he is certainly a fast driver. On board with him,
it was his
big
outlap.
dodgy.
I didn't see if his outlap was invalid.
Right, okay. Okay.
Not paying attention to that because I knew it was his outlap, but his current lap is actually totally fine.
Yeah, okay, well, that's good. That's good to know. I just didn't want to go on board when he's invalidated it all the vlog. But, yeah, one of the fastest drivers out there. We saw that in qualifying too. And he is certainly in the shot for qualifying here. But a big moment and a big squirm out of turn 3 may have just cost him a tenth or two on the run down to the left-hander of turn 4, of course. 3 DRS straights here, and we're about to go through... Is there 3 DRS straights? Or just yes, it is 3 DRS straights and 2 activations, of course. So, yeah, through the final stadium section comes the Alfa Romeo driver Van Geffen, who finished second last week, was always in the picture after those safety cars and really performing well. He is pushing so hard and maybe over pushing, overcooks it, and out over the line he goes. It's a 1:16.356. It's a good lap time, but he knows there's more left on the board as Bushy Ants puts it into first position. He goes 3 tenths faster. I think those mistakes through sector 1 and sector 2 absolutely costing him. Dale out there apparently fastest of all through the middle sector. So yeah. Dale, who has not been involved with the fight so far, looks to be coming alive right at the right time, and the boil is coming from Dale as he crosses the line. He goes into 4th position, so strong through the middle sector, but not as fast as Bushy through the 1st and 2nd. Dirk Chocolate over the line into 3rd position. That's a great lap time from him.
It certainly is. Very surprised to see that, but maybe I don't want to be that mean, but you know, maybe he's on a new set of softs, whereas everyone else around him is on used softs. That's too mean, isn't it? GB, I'll take it back.
GB into 6th position there. Aston Martin's 5th and 6th. And so we're shocked to see Dirk, so that's the so funny.
It's an interesting one because his middle sector was actually purple. He looked better in the middle sector than anyone else, but the final sector lost 2.5 tenths there to Bushy, and in the first sector he lost half a second, and that's what pushed him down. But you can see the glimpse of pace he has, GB does, by just showing how good that middle sector was. I think there was a mistake probably either in the first 3, must have been in the first 3 corners, obviously, or on the exit and on the start of the lap, the exit of the final corner, on the lap before, on the outlap, that he loses half a second, or maybe he just didn't turn on the ERS until halfway through, I don't know. But losing half a second in 3 corners is quite surprising, to say the least. And, yeah, I think GB may be a driver to keep an eye on as well. Honestly, I'm starting to second guess what I said at the end of Q2, that we have 3 drivers to look at. I think, honestly, 6, 7, 8 drivers in here could all get pole position. I think the only one... the only 2 I would really sort of take out of this are Liam. Haven't seen enough from him to have enough trust in him to think that he could get pole position. And I'm sorry I have to mention you, but Dirk. It's a good lap time there, but I just don't see him getting pole position. But anyone else, I think, of the other 8, Sapsar reigning champion, Tiamat Marduk race winner, that guy Vince with a fantastic debut last week, GB68 who could have won season 1 in Baku if he had a bit more luck and with penalties mostly. Mr. Dale that we know is quick, Meraki we know is quick, and I don't need to talk about Van Heffen and Bushy. They're obviously quick. We know that. So I think there's 8 drivers here that could all take pole position, and I don't know who to pick.
Yeah, it is certainly all up for grabs here in Q3, round 2 of the Creator Series, and it is all about to kick off here. We have 5 minutes and 42 on the clock. Bushy Ants currently in provisional pole, and he had a absolutely stonking lap out there. Van Geffen 3/10 off. He seemed to be all over the place, loose and leery, so expect time from him. Timo Marduk, the man we ride on board with at the moment, cutting through the second sector, seems to be way off. And Safso into second, so Safso putting in a brilliant lap time. Timo Marduk, who's currently down in 10th, may actually be returning to the pits here because he seems way off the pace. But Safso in second position, and let's see. Timo Marduk is going to come over the line. We'll ride on board with him to the end, and he is a second off the pace of Bushy at the front. Safso into second.
It's another used set of tyres for Timo Marduk there, so don't read too much into that lap time. I think if he puts on a new set of tyres or a much less used set of tyres, I think he can easily gain loads of lap time and could still very much challenge for a top spot here. So don't be fooled by that 16.9 in P10 there. I would say the same for that guy Vince as well with the 16.8. I think also a very used set of tyres for him there. Possibly one that was used in Q1 and Q2 already, that is being used here again. So the issue is with a lot of these drivers is that they want to use at least one set of softs in the race, and you only get 3 sets of softs unless you want to sacrifice a set of mediums and go for the softer tire distribution. Then you could go for 4 softs, 1 medium, 1 hard. But I think a lot of drivers don't want to do that. So instead, they want to use as few soft tires as possible. So they decided probably on 2 sets. 1 in Q1, 2 in Q2. The first one from Q1 and a new one for Q2. And then the same 2 sets from Q2 for Q3 again. So you really only get about 5 or 6 laps out of this. Yeah. And it's very, very tricky overall.
So Once Chocolate,
you get to Q3, you struggle.
Dirk Chocolate is going to be coming into pits here because he, I think, invalidated out of turn 11 on his lap. So, pushing it. I don't think that was a fresh pair of softs. Talking of fresh pair of softs, GB68, a quick driver on an out lap at the moment. He is preparing for what will be his final time of qualifying today. Could it be enough for pole position, or will he have to settle for best of the rest? Let's follow on board with the Aston Martin driver as he crosses the line to start his lap.
Yeah, once again, you're just going through the gears here up to 8. Open the DRS as best as you can, and at this point, you're just waiting. You're just orientating yourself. Where is the brake marker? And there it is. Usually, some drivers like to use the crane on the left side. If you see, there's, I think a Marshall is up there on the crane, on like a crane platform, and that tends to be a decent marker through turns 1, 2, 3, up to turn 4, and usually you take the 100-meter board there. If that's gone, some drivers might struggle actually in the race, but it's still there for now in qualifying. And we are now heading into the S section, turns 7 to 11, and it kind of feels like a bit of a 7-11. It feels like you have to commit to it. Well, you don't have to do a 7-11. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's a nice way to call these corners. Call them 7-11.
7 to 11, right? It's 7 to 11. I quite like that, to be honest.
In the stadium, and one more corner to go. Go narrow. Go early on the throttle. Go narrow again. He doesn't quite, and now he does. Waited a little bit there, and it's P2. Yeah. Again, a purple middle sector from GB, but again he lost in the first and the third. I actually think now, seeing this twice, wouldn't be surprised to find out that GB has a bit of a different set of wings on the car, a little bit more downforce oriented, because you don't lose 2.5 tenths in the first sector for no reason.
Yeah.
I think there's extra downforce on that car.
That's going to be a struggle in the race, though, of course. But we'll see how that works out for him. Bushy Ants in first position here. Name is not correct on the timing tower. Second position's GB68. We just saw his lap. Van Geffen, fastest through the middle sector of all, and was super quick in qualifying too. Can he put it into provisional pole? And he can. 3.5 tenths is the gap. And Bushy, he's going to come to the line now. And he goes even faster. That is a 1:15.622 for the Silver Arrow, and that is superb pace, and that may be the provisional pole time we've seen already.
Mr. Dale coming across the line now. Good lap time so far as well. P3 for him. Here comes Safso. They're all coming through now. Safso, no, he's just starting his lap. My bad. Tiamat Marduk also just starting a lap, I think. Yep. Who else do we have?
Meraki.
Yeah, is Meraki the next one?
I think he's about to come around the final corner now, so he will make the cut.
Outlap.
Yep. So
everyone on an outlap now in the final sector, including Liam there. Van Heffen. So is Dirk on a flyer right now? He should be. Yeah, he is. 28.5 in the first sector. That means very little. Depending on the middle sector, it might mean more. Let's see. 50.69. That's not good. Oh, he's invalidated as well. Dirk is done for this session. Now we are looking at Bushy.
Safso, I think.
Safso, yeah.
Yep, so Safso coming through the 7-Eleven, and he is coming towards the stadium section at the moment. 2 tenths off the fastest time, but improving on his best, so looking for an improvement in his time nonetheless. It may not be enough to dethrone Bushy Ants from the top here, but the McLaren driver will come around the final 2 corners of 16 and 17 out of the stadium section, cross the timing beam, and he goes into 4th position. Now Tiamat Marduk, where is he going to go? He's invalidated, so he will not improve. Only going to be able to start in 10th. Meraki out there on a lap at the moment.
Yeah, and also invalid. In the stadium section. Liam, he is still going for 1. And then it's going to be Vince, who has also invalidated and retired as well. And Liam goes up to P5, and that concludes the session. So Bushy on pole position with Van Heffen rounding out the front row. Both drivers with a 1:15.6. Mr. Dale, P3, 1:15.7. Safso, P4, 1:15.8. Liam, P5, very good result for him, I would say. 15.9. GB, 16 flat. Dirk, 16.4. Meraki, only 16.4. A bit disappointing, I would say, for him. That guy, Vincent, P9, 16.8. Invalidated his final run, and the same is true for Tiamat Marduk in P10. I think both of those drivers will also be very disappointed.
Yeah, we went on board with Meraki a little bit there. He was visibly furious that he had invalidated his lap time. And a very, very distraught driver there. Of course, looking for back-to-back pole positions, but he didn't do it. It's the grippy one, Bushy Ants, who's took pole position here, and he sets his day off great for the Mercedes. Second is Van Geffen. Maybe he will be battling for the race. Mr. Dale in third. Alex Gillen, last week's race winner, going to be starting from the back of the grid. That could be a last to first challenge here. And what do you think the likelihood of that happening is? Is it possible to win from the back in a 100% race at Mexico?
It's a good question. I would say it definitely is. In 100% more so than any shorter race. The longer the distance, obviously the less your qualifying position really matters. And so it's certainly possible. Whether he will do it, the probability, the possibility exists. How high the probability is, we're going to have to wait and see. I could not put a number on that.
Yep. So, but Bushy Ants, we've seen his pace before. If he can get into the leader race, start to control it. I think it was Zandvoort last year that he won and showed supreme race. That hasn't been able to rekindle that form since not near the races at China and actually Singapore, and of course last week at Bahrain. But Bushy Ants on pole position here. He will want a taste of the action. Dale in third position, super impressive, and clearly his work with Luke Smith paying off there in that session.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if you get coached by a professional esports driver in Luke Smith, And you get coached around the circuit. You get told all the intricacies of this track that you might not know, and now you do. All of a sudden, that will show in your pace, and that's what we're seeing with Mr. Dale right there. Very, very strong P3 for him. Again, I would say maybe a bit lucky that Meraki, Vince, and Tiamat Marduk all messed up their final runs. If they can improve, I think they're challenging for top 3, 4, 5. So it could have been really, really close there. But we had the top 5 in Q3 within 0.3 of a second. So plenty of drivers capable here. Plenty of drivers who can win this. And let's head on to the formation lap. And for all of you who are watching for the first time, pay attention towards the end of the formation lap. You're going to see something beautiful.
You certainly will. So, yes, we have the start of the formation lap, and we'll go through and make sure to give you the strategy of tyres. What do you think the best strategy is going to be here for our drivers?
There's a couple. There are 3 possible strategies depending on how many soft tyres you've used in qualifying. If you get eliminated in Q1, I think the best strategy, and I'm not kidding, is a 3-stop. Soft, medium. The soft tyre around here, despite only lasting a good 20 laps or so, let me check real quick just to make sure what I'm talking about. That would be 21 laps that the soft tyre lasts. It is incredibly powerful. It is incredibly fast around here, and it gains you so much time. If you don't have 3 sets of new softs available, which for most drivers I think is the case, you could go for a soft medium 2-stop or soft medium soft. Again, you can alternate where you want to go with this. You can shuffle the individual stints around. If you only have 1 set of new softs available, which you should have planned your qualifying in such a way that you do, soft medium. What you notice in what I just mentioned is the hard tire is rubbish, really, around here. It's absolutely unusable. You should not touch it with a 10-foot pole, and it is not worth it whatsoever. So it's going to be a bit of a tire battle for the drivers, and they're going to have to make sure that they can't pit too often, because at some point they're going to run out of tires to use. And it's going to be very interesting to see. And there is the beauty that we get to see. The Spinalas on the formation lap to warm up the tires, but also to just create a little bit of beauty on the grid. So wonderful to see right there.
Yeah, we're going to have the light sequence very, very soon here. Alfie in chat asking, what did I miss? It's a reverse grid. No, Alex Gillen didn't make qualifying, so he's starting from the back. Last week's race winner in 20th. Bushy Ants on pole position. Van Geffen second. And the track has been cleared. The creators are ready. It's time for the Mexican Grand Prix. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5... And the creators go racing in Mexico, and it looks to be a good start from Geffen, who immediately starts to go on the attack of Bushy Ants. He's going to tuck in right behind the slipstream. It's a long run down to turn 1 here, and we'll ride on board as our view is impaired into turn 1. And does Van Geffen want to go for the overtake into turn 1? Slips just behind Dale in 3rd. Safso battling 4th and 5th position between Liam. They're still battling out of turn 3, and I think Safso has just lost out with that one. Dirk Chocolate in 6th position, 7th for GB6, 68.
Yeah, meanwhile, Tom has apparently left the session. He seemed to have had some, let's say, connection issues, and so he disconnected there. But his car looked quite laggy before he left the session, before we got that message. I always like to watch the race from the back forwards to see if there's any carnage going on in the midfield. Tom has rejoined in P19. Let's hope he can take control of his car very soon. But in the front, they have sorted each other out. Bushy, Van Heffen, Mr. Dale, Safso, Liam, top 5, no changes. Dirk past GB. And then we have Tiamat Marduk and El Taco Man already gaining 2 places each.
Yeah, Van Geffen looking to be under a bit of pressure from Dale here as they round the final corner and split the timing of the crossover for the first lap and head on to lap 2. It's actually Bush Yance who sets the fastest time of all, not surprising, but there's battling further down the pack here. And who's close? It is indeed Tiamat Marduk, very close with GB68 and getting the move done on the straight, on softs here, and looking to go forward at the start. But does Tiamat Marduk trying to get 2 cars done in one straight? He goes deep with Dirk Chocolate, and it is so deep. There's contact between 2 of them. That pushes Dirk Chocolate out, and now GB68, he looks to come back through.
Whoa.
Do they know it's actually 3 wide through here? It is very tight racing as we watch Tiamat Marduk up the inside of both of them, and he does finally get that position out through turn 4 and turn 5. Great racing between the 3, actually 4, as Al Taco just behind.
That was gorgeous from Tiamat Marduk. It was also clever. He was on the inside of a 3 wide, and the 2 cars on the outside came merging closer and closer together. He decided to extract himself from that instead of causing a potential crash that would look like Singapore 2017? 2018? I
yes,
forget.
2017 when the rain hit,
Yes.
and the first rain night race in Formula 1.
And he extracted himself from that by lifting off the throttle a little bit and said, you know what, I'm going to try this at the end of the straight again. Took a bit of slipstream, used some battery, and up the side he went, and that was a very strong send, but it worked and it was legal. So very good move there by Tiamat Marduk, and I don't think Dirk was punted off there.
Yeah, and we have more action into turn 1 at the moment. Actually, GB68 losing out to El Taco Man. El Taco Man trying to go around the outside of Dirk through turn 2. That becomes the inside at turn 3. Again, GB68 looks to battle back and take the positions he's lost, but Dirk Chocolate is going to have to fall behind here. El Taco into 8th position, and they're still 2 wide through turn 4. The right-hander of turn 5, GB68 battles back into 7th, but they're on and off the track all the time, and there's contact between the Ferrari and GB68. El Taco crashing into the back of GB68 here, and he'll be so frustrated. Great battling up to then.
Yeah, up to then, that's the key word there, the key words. Up to that point, it was a fantastic battle, and unfortunately, it led to a bit of a double spin there. Synchronized spin between Taco and GB68, who has now dropped down to last, and we have a VSC, a virtual safety car. We have not gotten the full safety car here. It's a VSC, and there's contact between El Taco Man and Curbs. Wonder if any of them got a penalty for that. We do have our first penalty, by the way, for Infratic, a 3-second time penalty, and El Taco Man uses this to box, and some of the medium runners actually going in. That might be for damage, though. I can try to check, but none of them have their telemetry on. Oh, no, hold on. One car did. Alex Gillen pitting. Cars going on to hard tires.
Yeah, very surprising.
Maybe
pitting for damage. Yeah, interesting out there. Virtual safety car out, and I think just in time because there's all sorts of mad battling going to go on for 10th position. The Alpine of Razin, Shai, Gullis, Curbs, all involved with that one, and we can actually go picture in picture with Curbs during this virtual safety car period as the car drivers just wait for the restart here, and I think it's going to come very soon here. They don't want to get caught out by the deltas. That will cause a drive-through penalty, and we see it. El Taco Man drive-through penalty. We have racing once again at Mexico, and Curbs right behind this battle for 10th position. Razin Shai, the Alpine in 10th, Gillis in 11th, and Curbs in 12th position.
Yeah, meanwhile, I just checked all 4 drivers that pitted for a new front wing as well, so that was the reason for them.
Curbs and Tom, they're coming together. Tom into the stadium section, turn 12, gets the move done. He is up into 12th position. A better restart, I think you can call that from him.
Yeah, certainly making up moves. Very important here after a restart. Always a good opportunity to just get one for free over on someone else. And Tom did exactly that. Now he has to use those soft tires and the soft tire advantage to get past some of the medium runners in front. Hayden Gullis and Razin should have a tire disadvantage on Tom, but it looks like right now he can't quite get past them. But a bit of patience and maybe over the next couple of laps he will. We also have Mr. Dale in P3 already with a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, pushing
So,
very hard.
Another car. Yeah, and El Tacuman now serving his drive-through penalty. The earlier you get it out of the way, the better, because you got to remember, what if there's a safety car? Immediately, everyone gets back together, and you haven't served your drive-through. Well, now he has. If there's a safety car now, and again, it's quite likely that we're going to get a safety car at some point, then, you know, the drive-through is no longer on his record. He served it, and everything's good. Mr. Dale, meanwhile, trying to put Van Heffen under pressure here, was very close in the stadium section, was a bit late on the brakes, and sniffed the fumes of that Alfa Romeo a bit. And now with DRS, maybe a move possible either into turn 1 or turn 4 for the Aston Martin.
Yeah, Tiamat Marduk fastest of all in 6th position, costing the line then, and closing down on Liam as well in the background. Dale certainly has worked on his race pace, but maybe should have spent a little bit more time working on track limits, because a 3-second penalty already will damage his race further on. We'll have to see how those pile up, but he's got to take it a little bit more cautious. Tiamat Marduk in 6th position, going around the outside of Liam and almost smashing into his background, but his teammate, a little bit too hot on the brakes there, and he just about manages to maintain that position he made on the run down to turn 4. The soft runner of Tiamat Marduk up to 5th position here.
Yeah, very good move there from him, very calculated, and it worked like a charm. He is up to P5 now, and he's hunting for more. He's the only soft runner in the top 8 at this point. Infratic might is the second one then. But he's over 3 seconds behind just one Ali already, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge to make up positions for Infratic there. And then Tom in P11 also on softs, as is Curbs in P13. We're going to have to wait and see what exactly is going to happen in terms of strategy throughout this race. But right now it looks very good for Tiamat Marduk, who's making up places as easy as they come, and into P5. As the lead group settles a bit. Bushy has checked out, 2 seconds the gap now. And then Van Heffen, Mr. Dale, Safsa, Tiamat Marduk, they've settled in a bit. They're in this for the long run, and they don't want to work against each other. They want to work together, and that, I think, is the smart choice to make.
Yeah, so let's see how that plays out. The gap, I think Bushy Ant's doing very, very well. He's checked out. 1.6 seconds is the gap. That's been maintained over the last few laps, which is decent from Rutanius Van Geffen in 2nd position, because, of course, he is out of DRS from the car ahead. But is he overburning and over-consuming that ERS? If he is, that will make him very, very pliable to an overtake from the Aston Martin of Dale. Further down the order, just Ali, only 4 tenths behind Meraki for 7th position.
Oh, we have a yellow flag that is in the middle sector. That's for Alex Budd, who is off in the S's. That would be turn 9 in the 7-11 section, and he is going again, so we're back to green, but he lost a good couple of places there. Down to P16 he went, but he started P17, so it's not all that bad.
Yeah, and actually Dale looking to drop back a little bit away from Van Geffen here. Don't believe that gap on screen. That's jumping up and down. The gap is just under a second still. So he still had DRS down the main straight, and they'll have DRS flap open there. So Van Geffen doing very well to keep them at arm's length. But actually Safso thinking about a move, jinks to the inside, goes to the outside, tries to hang it around the outside at turn 4. And there's a little bit of buffeting between the two. It's still up the inside for Safso. We saw crashes here in the race last year. Tiamat Marduk wants to come and make this a three-way battle between the McLarens and the Aston Martins, and the McLaren of Safso gets by into 3rd position. He will now chase down 2nd position.
And a massive moment for Tiamat Marduk there. Almost lost the car in turn 7. My days, well held there, sir. That was maybe not quite a Code Brown moment, but I would call this a Code Yellow. For those of you who know where Code Brown comes from, you understand. But that was scary. He was, I would say, a good 20 degrees sideways. That's not what you want. Oh my, well held. I would have spun there, quite honestly. And for those of you asking who's in P1, that would be Bushy Ants, and Van Heffen has now actually pulled a significant gap to Safso. Gap is now 1.3 seconds, 1.2 seconds there between P2 and P3, and Safso has no DRS. So the group's starting to splinter here. We have P1 in a league of his own, P2 in a league of his own, and then P3, 4, and 5 all together in the Aston Martin filled McLaren sandwich.
Yeah, name is so different because of the way that we run the graphics. I don't think Bushy Ants has selected the right number, so it hasn't selected the right name, but Bushy Ants in first position here. The winner of Zandvoort in Season 1, looking to make it a second win in the Creator Series. Tiamat Marduk on those softs, maybe getting him a little bit too hot, battling with Sasso and Dale on the last lap. He is looking on the ragged edge of things, but he's still keeping in touch with the battle just in front, and absolutely, Dale picks up another 3 seconds worth of penalties. These are starting to stack up, and a safety car here, and you have to expect there will be one or two. It's a Creator Series after all. That could really damage Dale, who's been superb in qualifying third, of course, but dropping further back here.
Yeah, especially a late safety car would obviously hurt Dale quite a lot, but there's still plenty of time for the others to collect penalties as well, so it's not all lost, and I would expect that we see most of these drivers have at least one penalty, if not 2 or 3, by the end of this race.
There's an overtake by Gullis on Emphatic for 11th position, and that is done on the DRS straights. Gullis will have a second helping of DRS because it's just one activation zone for 2 DRS zones, and down the straight they go. Emphatic not going to be able to battle that one and respond to that one, but the Alpines line a 9th and 10th, lying astern in their 9th and 10th, and I think Shai right on the back of Tom here because his softs starting to go off. Curbs also up into 13th position, battling with GB68 as they come round the double apex corner of turn 6. They're still too wide. Curbs will have the inside of turn 7, and actually GB68 has a better traction and gets ahead before the 711 complex, and that is good placement from the Aston Martin of GB68 there to make a move over Curbs on those softs. I think they're starting to go backwards at this stage of the race.
Yeah, they certainly do. A lot of soft drivers are starting to feel the tire as if it was, after a long 8-hour work day, really starting to get exhausted. Whereas the mediums, they just woke up. They're 10 laps, they're just getting ready for work. Now they're getting into the mix, into the groove, and they're having a lovely time. The softs are already at the point where they don't really want to go that much faster, but they are still worth it because the pace that you get from them is quite significant. As I think Tiamat Marduk, the plan for him right now should be at least to stay out and stay with this group as long as he can and snatch the DRS all the time, and then once he falls off the group a bit too much, it should be time for a pit stop. But the drivers obviously have to monitor their gaps, and that's going to be the crucial part. I wish we could get this Creator Series done with all these drivers having their own engineers. 20 drivers plus 20 engineers, and they all monitor the gaps and say, hey, this is a good time to pit because there's a gap that you could slot into, or not now, you would come out directly in traffic. Those kinds of things, because right now, if I was Tiamat Marduk's engineer, he does have DRS, I would definitely tell him to stay out. But at the same time, from a pit stop here, you lose 21.5 seconds just in the pit lane, which means Tiamat Marduk would be right behind Curbs right now, and that's not where you want to be. Behind Curbs, behind GB, if you were to be on new tires, you'd have to make the moves happen. And it's an easy track to overtake on, but still, you don't want to be stuck behind drivers that are on older tires.
Yeah, at the front, I tell you what, you spoke about waking up these medium tyres, waking up. Certainly starting to come good for Van Geffen because he has closed down within DRS of Bushy Ants, who built a lead of nearly 2 seconds at one point. That has come under a second. That meant that Van Geffen had two squirts of DRS down the main straight and down the straight, down towards turn 4. The gap 7/10 at the moment as they come out of the S section and towards turn 12. I think he'll have DRS again, and he can just sit behind and start to charge the ERS and plan his mode of attack here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Yeah, certainly. It's all about strategy, and not just pit strategy, but also being strategic with your overtakes, when to attack, where to attack, which corner. And that's the beauty of a 71-lap race. You get plenty of time to scout your opponents, to scout the other drivers, look at them and go, where are they strong, where are they weak? And the more information you gather over that time as a driver, the more you look at them, the way they drive, the more you get an idea of, okay, this is where he struggles, this is where he's fast, this is where I can attack, this is where it's probably better to save. And it should inform your decision, and it should make quite interesting. It should make for a quite interesting race here, as Tiamat Marduk is struggling more and more to stay with Mr. Dale and Safso. Van Heffen, meanwhile, is within a second of Bushy. So the battle we were waiting for, it is coming to fruition right now. Van Heffen last lap 2.5 tenths quicker than Bushy. This lap, first sector, they were pretty much equal. Middle sector, let's see what they clock in with. My telemetry is not uploading all too quickly. Another 10th for Van Heffen, so more and more time gained. And he's saving battery as well. He's got a massive surplus. I think he's going to try to charge to like 85% maybe. Or is he going to go for the move now?
Yeah.
It certainly is possible. No, he decides not to. He's being strategic here, and I love that.
Yeah, so Van Geffen only 7/10 behind Bushy Ants now. Actually, Dale going very deep into the stadium complex, almost making contact with Safso just behind. He's still within a second of that driver, though. 2 seconds back from this battle, and as you say, Rutanius or Van Geffen is recharging that battery and waiting to spring his trap in the next few laps. That is coming. Bushy Ants certainly starting to feel the pressure here in that Silver Arrows, and maybe spent a bit too much of his tyres in the early stage to build that gap. He'd probably love a safety car here to neutralise the threat of Van Geffen.
Yeah, that would, I think, be his saving grace, because he would put the two equal on ERS, but at the same time, the field is so split. I think a safety car right now would mostly help the soft runners, not so much the medium runners. So if I was Bushy, I'd be very careful about wishing for a safety car right now. Yeah, sure. With Van Heffen, that would be neutralized for now, but at the same time, everyone else would close in. So I'd be more inclined to wish for a VSC if I was Bushy. Specifically a VSC, not a full safety car. And then he could recharge his battery still without actually losing the gap that he has to all the other cars. And we're hearing that Infratic is saying that he's struggling, and by the looks of things, I gotta say, it looks like he's struggling. Not trying to be mean or anything, but he has been going backwards quite a bit. The soft tires are going towards the end of their life cycle, and I think a lot of these soft runners have to start thinking, at least, about pitting anytime soon. Whether it's this lap, I think it might still be a bit early, depending on what situation
Curbs in the pit. Curbs is in the pit. So
yeah, Curbs already decided
he was running a soft.
Had enough Carbon Shadow as well. So 2 soft runners in. They've had enough of their tires, and I understand why, but I would think they're going to go for mediums here. Let's see, Curbs is going for mediums indeed. Carbon Shadow as well. So both cars now back out on the yellow-walled compound tire.
Yep, so Curbs leaving the pits there on the medium tyre, as you say, giving up on those softs, not liking them at this stage of the race. Going to lap 15 on them is a decent stint. Expect more loss from the cars ahead. Tiamat Marduk doing very well to keep up with this battle just in front on the softs, same age. He doesn't come to pit this time around and comes around the final corner to come on to lap 16 here. And yeah, Tiamat Marduk, really, how far do you want to run on the softs before it would actually be risky that you have a puncture or something along the lines of overheating the tyres in this race? What is the latest you think you should go on a pair of softs here?
Overheating the tyres doesn't seem like that much of an issue. And right now I can see his tire temperatures there at a solid.
Oh, he's closing. Sorry, he's closing into turn 4, making a move.
I don't know what he's doing there. I wouldn't do that right now. You're not helping yourself attacking on these tires, honestly.
Ooh, big moment.
The Curb is having other ideas there. When Curb and underfloor meet, that's what you're seeing right there. It's not a nice feeling. Once again, Tiamat Marduk sideways saving it. He has to work for this right now because his tires are starting to go off. So how much do you want to stay out? I think puncture is not a concern yet. Tire temperature is not a concern yet. It's more about the surrounding factors, the environmental factors, let's call it. You know, if you pit, where would you re-emerge? Where would you come out? How much time would you lose behind the cars that you would come out behind? And right now, and how much time would you gain from staying out? And right now, he has DRS. That around this circuit gains about, I'd say, 3 to 4 tenths a lap. So that's certainly helpful. So I'd say Tiamat Marduk should stay out as long as he gets DRS. Once he is out of it, you have to give it another thought and think about, you know, where would you come out? Right now, it's not looking too rosy. He'd be behind GB68 by about a second. But GB68 is a bit isolated. So you could overtake him quite easily on newer tires. And then make your way to Hayden Gullis. Tom is going to have to pit soon. Razin, you know, you could get to that group and overtake them quite easily. And then you'd have a lot of clean air there. But it's probably better to just stick it out a little bit longer. Although, he's lost DRS now. I think this might be a good time, to be fair.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll see if Tiamat Marduk responds to that loss of DRS here, if he'll try and claim it back one last time. But Tom, very much one of those drivers on the soft tyre, under pressure. And while one Silver Arrow looks to be falling backwards at the front, Hayden Gullis in the Silver Arrow is looking to close down on the Alpine of Tom here, coming out of the S section. He's very, very close. He's been a bit closer before too. But Tom being massively helped by his teammate. Oh, but there's a spin! There's a spin! And that is the commentator's curse. Shy, I just said he's being helped by him, and he won't have DRS going over the line, so Gullis will maybe have an attempt down into turn 1 here, and the Silver Arrow driver is going to get DRS in the way that he hasn't had before, and he's going to close down, but it's not going to be quite enough here into turn 1, but maybe a move into turn 4, the left-hander, double helpings of DRS here, and that is a massive moment from the Alpine driver. Razin Shai running really, really well, but on the power through the stadium section, spinning up his tyres, and now Tom is vulnerable, and he'll know that, and I'm sure that was a reaction on his stream. But Hayden Gullis still not quite close enough. Will he think about a lunge into turn 4? No, Tiamat Marduk rashness from him. I think it's going to come very soon though, this move.
I can't believe you've done this to Razin. Unbelievable, Gareth. You can't be doing that. You know the responsibility a commentator has on not cursing the drivers. Incredible there. Yeah.
I tell you what, Bushy Ants is doing well.
Oh, don't do that to him. Nah, he's leading. Leave the man alone. But Tiamat Marduk still staying out, surprisingly. I think he might be going for a 2-stop.
Actually, Van Geffen does make a move on Bushy Ants down to start finish straight. And Van Geffen into first position here and making a move out of the final corner. Just check the gap. It was a 10.5, and he's closed down and has finally took the lead of this race here. He was battling for so long in Bahrain and never quite managed to hold the race lead for longer than a couple of laps. Let's see how quickly Bushy Ants in the Silver Hours will be able to respond to this.
Yeah, it's an interesting move there from Van Geffen. I think he's had enough. He's still not using his battery though. That's what surprises me. He's still sitting right now on 87% of battery charge. That is immense. And now he's using some to pull the gap a little bit, but I feel like you have to use it in places you wouldn't normally use it to try to pull the gap to Bushy a little bit bigger, and he doesn't do that. He doesn't quite do that. So very surprising here to see Van Geffen just wanting to, I guess, chill, but chill in the lead instead of in P2. As he goes for the fastest lap, there we go. And once again, the question of Tiamat Marduk, is he going to pit? He is not. Once again, he stays out. Another very surprising move. Remember, the lifespan of the soft tires is just about 21 laps. He just started lap 20. He's really getting there at this point. So, I don't know what he's doing. Although, I'm going to say this right now. He's got a gap of 21 seconds to Tom. This might actually be a smart move, despite not having DRS. Oh, no, sorry, that was Mr. Dale. My bad, no. He's got 20 seconds to GB68, and that's not going to work. So he's going to be a second and a half behind GB, and yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem. So it hasn't worked out. If he had been able to stay with Sapso and Mr. Dale, it would have been okay, but losing that DRS about 3 or 4 laps ago, that did him in. And now Tiamat Marduk is struggling, and once he pits, he will be behind GB and Tom and Hayden.
Yeah, so Emphatic just pitting there. We heard he was struggling on his softs. He did manage to make it to lap 20, but has lost a position to Curbs, who pitted much earlier. Undercut for him there. Maybe the tyre offset will be an advantage later on in the race for the Red Bull driver. And Tiamat Marduk pits to 5th position. So another driver who has finally done their time on those softs. I tell you what I want to mention. Emphatic in 17th position. But Dirk Chocolate, he qualified so well. I don't know what's happened to Dirk Chocolate. People in the chat let us know. But down in 18th position, that's a little bit sad to see when he was so fantastic in qualifying. Clearly he must have had a moment out there that has put him way down the order.
Yeah, he was one of the drivers who were involved in the spin on lap 3. Then the subsequent VSC allowed him to pit for a new front wing. But yeah, he had to pit for the new front wing. As meanwhile, I think, was that just Juan Ale struggling there?
I think Gullis has just got into 8th position, and Tom losing out on those softs, so he is finally going backwards. Ali certainly out there struggling, but he is on the medium tyre, so they are quite a number of lap old tyres, aren't they? 21, he must have started on them, so Just Ali coming up through the pack here in 6th position for the Ferrari team. Currently lead the Constructors' Championship, thanks to Alex Gillen's point last time out, reserving and replacing Just Ali, who couldn't make it, but Gillen is in the Haas today, and he's having a quiet race on those hards. I think involved with a lap 1 collision. He opted to go for the hard tyre and maybe just suffer through the misery, but yeah, you don't want to be lapped here, and I don't think he's quite close enough to being lapped. I think a couple of long straights before that would happen, so yeah, but he's just suffering through the pain here.
Yeah, although you got to remember, it's not that much pain to be lapped, as Tom now finally pits and gives Tiamat Marduk DRS to close in on Hayden Gullis and GB68. So Tiamat Marduk's going to be a man on a mission here, and he will be trying to fly past these two. He doesn't have enough battery charge, though. He's been a bit, how do I say that? You know, a bit
of a spendthrift.
Yeah, a bit lousy with his ERS management.
Yeah.
So used a bit too much in places, and now he's sort of paying the price for it. He has a massive tyre advantage on the two cars in front. We're talking 20 laps, or around 35% estimated. I don't have the actual data because most of the drivers do not have their telemetry on public, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. What a massive moment for Hayden Gullis. And that's the opportunity for Tiamat Marduk here. He sets it up. Lets Gullis run wide, and that is a free position right there. Tiamat Marduk, ever so clever, the fox that he is, decides to just let Hayden Gullis make the mistake himself and slip through in a very opportune moment. Tiamat Marduk up to P9 and hunting down GB68 now. Again, 20 lap old tires, 35% tire wear less, and really, if I were to, or if I had to calculate 35% tire wear, probably make out 7 or 8 tenths a lap here, maybe up to a second. If I had to estimate it, I'd say about 8 tenths a lap.
Just Ali right on the back of Liam here for 5th position. He's not going to be able to make a move this lap. Dale also very close to Safso for third position. Battling between those two going on. Tom out there looking very racy with that guy, actually Alex Budd, and actually getting by as I start to talk about him. Tom into 13th position there. He's pitted off the soft tyres onto a medium set of tyres, so a different strategy to the cars around him, and he will look to close down on Alex Gillen ahead, who's on those hard, and you expect he will do that. And there's been a team orders from Alex Budd and that guy Vince on the hards with greater pace being allowed by his teammates, so that's good teamwork between those two. And out there at the front, Just Ali again close to the back of Liam, and I think he's going to want to go for an overtake down the straight. Scuderia versus Scuderia engines, of course, in the back of those two cars, and the Ferraris want to get through. Meanwhile, Dale at the front, he has got by Safso, our reigning champion, losing out to Dale, but
McLaren and Aston once again battling, this time the others. Tiamat Marduk going past GB68, and what I would consider him reaching the promised land, meaning 9 seconds of clean air in front of him to Meraki, who himself is a bit isolated, as he is 3.5 seconds behind Jusman Ali. So now Tiamat Marduk has been freed, and he will be flying.
Absolutely. 10 seconds is the gap. No, it's not 10 seconds. It is 9 seconds the gap to Meraki ahead. So Tiamat Marduk's got some ground to make up. We'll see how quickly he can do that on those medium tyres that he's pitted for just a number of laps ago. He will have the pace to close down, but interesting to see what would happen if the safety car came out now. Bushy Ants in second position, being able to keep tabs with Van Geffen at the front of this race. Dale has moved back into third position, of course, starting the race in third position. He has 9 seconds worth of penalties, actually quite a number of penalties, racking up further down below. 3 seconds for Sai, and actually as we see the Mercedes of Bushy Ants looking for a move for the lead through turns 1 and 2 and 3 they go. He didn't quite manage to get it done, but they'll have DRS out of here, and immediately Van Geffen goes defensive, and he knows he's going to lose the lead here into turn 4, and the Mercedes, who started on pole, back into first position here.
Yeah, very good there by Bushy, but how much is that worth? Is that really the smartest thing you can do, is to take back the lead? I'm not so sure, because we just saw who set the fastest lap. It's a certain Tiamat Marduk in P8, and I'll tell you what, he is lapping 1.3 seconds quicker right now than Bushy and Van Geffen. So my estimation earlier from 7 to 8 tenths of 35%. Yeah, that was rubbish. I have to, call myself out here. It's closer to over a second that he gains per lap. That's how much difference new tires make around here. And that's why I said it's probably better to pit one more time than one time too little. And that's why the hard tires just do not work here.
Dale having a moment out there, out of the final corner, almost putting it into the wall, and that gives Safso the opportunity down the start-finish straight. The McLaren on the Aston Martin into third position, and Dale, who's battled so long to get into third position, almost immediately has that swiped away from him, and the McLaren Safso will have double DRS and be able to pull a gap to Aston Martin. Dale will be feeling lucky that he's even still in the race, had to absolutely catch the car out of the final corner, did manage to do that. Just Ali in the background, battling with Liam. He's been looking at the back of that Haas for a number of laps, but Liam is not giving up easy here, and as ERS burn towards turn 4, as Ali, again late on the brakes by Liam, and it's daring, and it'll be the inside of 5 and the inside of 6, pushing out Ali very wide. That could be a track cutting infraction, but Ali's still in there around turn 6, and he's going to have the inside of turn 7 into the S section. We hope these two don't come together. There's a little bit of contact between the two, and Just Ali elbows his way back into 5th position, and a great bit of battling between the Haas and the Ferrari driver there.
That was a strong move by Jusman Ali there. He just shoved him off. He said, nope, this is my corner. You slot in behind. I don't care where you go. And respect it. As Mr. Dale has retired.
He's crashed into the pit wall, and there's a safety car, and there's another car stricken, and it is who is that? It's Shadow, Carbon Shadows also is out of this race. Maybe are coming together between those two, but we have a safety car here, and we have a reset to grid. That was a very strange moment from Just Ali. I have no idea what's happened there.
The top 6 will have to pit surely. This is, I think, one of the worst things that could have happened to Tiamat Marduk. Where is he going to be? He's going to jump at least Ale, Liam, and Meraki, but I think the top 3 have stayed out. I don't think he will be overtaking them if they pit.
Yeah.
The gap is too big there. 23 seconds, just, or so seconds. If that was... Ooh, it might actually be close with Safso, to be fair. It might become really close with Safso.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that.
I think
Safso
these
and
cars will pit,
there
won't they?
might be a swap. But Rutanius, Van Heffen, and Bushy, the top 2, are going to stay in the lead if the top 3 all pit.
Yeah, and I wonder if there'll be any fighting for the pits. Of course, you can race on the way into the pits, and I think Bushy Ants and Safso, drivers out there who like to try and capitalise on slow drivers into the pits, they'll come in and reel off now, not being caught by the safety car yet, and Van Geffen knows he's got to be hard up to the pit wall, and he does in fact get it stopped in time, and it will be those two maintaining in the same position. It will be interesting, the gap between the race leaders and Tiamat Marduk. Actually, Safso almost slowing down Bushy Ants there a little bit, but Tiamat Marduk coming around the back of the stadium section. I think he's going to just maybe get into 3rd position if he's lucky, but first will remain Van Geffens, and Bushy Ants will be in 2nd. It's a long pick exit, and I think Safso has just done enough to maintain that position. It's going to be so close. And
the line isn't there yet. Who's ahead? Oh, Tiamat Marduk seems to keep the position.
No, he's going to be back. He's going to be back. He's going to be back. That was so razor thin between the two.
Yeah, and sort of what I expected there. Van Heffen 1, Bushy 2. They stayed the same, and then Safso and Tiamat Marduk was going to be very close, but in the end, Safso ahead. However, 7-lap difference now in tires between Tiamat Marduk and the top 3. 6-lap difference, well, 6.5 lap because they were under safety car, but 6.5 lap difference between Tiamat Marduk and the cars behind. Just one Ali and Liam Meraki actually on the hard compound tire. I'm not sure about that one. I don't think that's the right call to make, but you can certainly try. I think Meraki is not going to have a nice time throughout this race.
Maybe expects another safety car later on. Of course, cautions breed cautions in motorsport. Do you think a high chance of a safety car after the restart here?
Possible, but if cautions breed cautions, then I think you would be more inclined to go for potential softs than you would go for hards. So you can, use those softs for a couple laps, then pit again for the tire that you actually want. So I'm not sure about that. I think what Meraki wants to do is go to the end on those hard tires. He can. The hard tires would make it. Softs would struggle. In fact, the top 3 would all have to pit again anyway because they have only used medium so far. Same goes for P5, 6, and 8. Just one Ali, Liam, and GB68. As well as Hayden Gullis in P10, Razin Chai in P11, and Alex Budd in P16. They have all only used medium tires and are going to have to pit again. But, yeah, hards can go to the end. However, they're going to be slow. They're going to be just way too slow. And the extra pit stop over the next 40 laps is going to be more than compensated for by the fresher tires that they then have, and the fresher tires, or the better tires that they now have. So I'm not sure about Meraki's call there, but and what Schriebel is saying in the chat is actually 100% correct. Tiamat Marduk does have another set of fresh mediums available. All the other drivers, except for Meraki and Tom, and I think Infratic and Curbs further down the order, don't.
Yep.
So that's, and El Tacoman as well. But that certainly helps. That certainly helps. Who was that in the Alfa Romeo? That was Carbon Shadow.
Yeah, disappointing for him. He did raid as well, so thank you very much for Carbon Shadow raiding, and unlucky that you are out of this race. It will be interesting to see what happened between those two and whether it was combined and capitulated one another's sessions. Very disappointing for Dale. He was running in 3rd or 4th position at the time he was out, qualifying in 3rd. He's been fantastic throughout qualifying, and hopefully we'll have the pace next time out. Of course, we'll be seeing him at Saudi Arabia in that Aston Martin next week. All all focus for him will be on that, and there is a serious level of sweat here in the Creator Series now. First position is Van Geffen. He started in second and made his way through. Well, he's a little bit back off Bushy Ants, who started in first, but then came back to it and really warmed up into the fight. So really good stuff at the front here. Safso in third and Tiamat Marduk in fourth. Have to expect a little bit of team orders from the McLaren here at the restart, do you expect? Or do you think Safso will want to lead on the fresher medium tyre?
I would, if I was Tiamat Marduk and let's say I was in a conversation with Safso, I'd tell him, hey, stay ahead. It's fine. Stay ahead. You got the fresher tyres. If I was Tiamat Marduk, I'd just sit behind and wait my time and bide my time a bit. Because Tiamat Marduk is going to get the undercut on all of these guys. They're going to pit for softs towards the end, say lap 55 maybe. So as long as he can stay with them, he is going to fare better once he pits around lap 40, maybe 45 for new mediums. He's going to fare a lot better than they will on the softs, and he will have a bit of an advantage from that giant undercut he's going to get on those in the top three. So for now, Tiamat Marduk just needs to be patient, stay with them, and don't do anything stupid. Now, if I was Safso, I'd also want to stay in P3, because, again, fresher tyres, you're going to have an easier time battling with Bushy and Van Geffen than Tiamat Marduk's going to have.
And we have the safety car in this lap. We have the safety car in this lap. So Van Geffen will resume control and set the pace. He keeps it quite slow. Alex Gillen, like you would say, and that's causing cars to just have to go a little bit too wide in the back. But Van Geffen will think about stepping on the power out of turns 14 and 15 out of the stadium complex. And he goes now. We have racing again in the Creator Series. I think Tiamat Marduk was very wide through the final corner there. And he may be under pressure from Just Ali. He is under pressure from Just Ali, and I think he has got by down the straight, but Tiamat Marduk is going to want to fight back down here. Down the inside, Liam also involved in this fight. Actually, Tiamat Marduk does go down the inside. There's a late lunge from an Aston Martin. Who was that? I think that must have been GB68, a very late lunge, but Tiamat Marduk falling down the pack, and there's other cars falling down the pack here, so there's instant out of the back. Out. And it's Meraki. He's out of the race. Meraki is out.
Yeah, I did not see what exactly happened there, but it's on the exit of turn 3, and he has retired the car. Maybe we're going to get a clip from Harry, our resident...
He's stunned.
Really doing it all.
He looks stunned.
Resident designer, everything. Clipper, he does it all.
He does. But I've gone picture in picture with Meraki, and he looks absolutely gutted. He's barely even moved his wheel since, of course, he's out of the race, and he is... I think he's just a little bit furious, was angry at the end of qualifying that things didn't go his way, and now hands off the wheel, just very, very upset with what's happened there. Did you see what happened, or was it just out of sight for you?
It was completely out of sight for me. I was a bit more focused on the top 5 there, and just when Ali, Tiamat Marduk, Liam, GB, and what they were doing in turn 1, so I didn't see what exactly happened to Meraki. As that happened right behind, and I like to watch, being on the second screen, having my own screen and camera control, I like to watch the races from onboard perspectives to see what the drivers are going through, so I can, it's easier for me to think what they're potentially thinking. So, it's a bit trouble there, but Infratic and Razin actually pitting, and we do now have a clip, and I'm going to check this out.
Yeah, so looking back at the race, Bushy Ants right behind Van Geffen, and Just Ali putting a lot of pressure on Safso here. Of course, two people who battled all the way through for the lead of a championship. Just Ali's never won a Creator Series race, but you have to feel it's coming. Of course, involved with the championship battle all the way down to the line at Singapore, but he is in the top 4 here, making ground. Tiamat Marduk had an absolutely woeful restart. I think he just got out on the marbles around the exit of turn 15, and that left him stricken, and then we saw lunges from GB68 too. Luckily, I think they avoided contact, but yeah, what happened in that instant involving Meraki?
Yeah, so he was battling and banging wheels with a couple of cars with GB, I think with Liam as well. There was a lot going on, and then on the exit of turn 3, he just loses it on traction, spins around, and then it's Razin who is can't escape it, who can't avoid the spinning Meraki and just hits him right in the front right wheel. That's why Razin and Infratic, who was directly behind Razin, who also couldn't avoid it. That's why those two drivers were pitting for new front wings, but at least they are still in the race. Same, unfortunately, can't be said for Meraki. Very unfortunate there, but mostly I would say his own doing by losing the traction there on the exit of turn 3. I don't think, let me check just to make sure. No, he wasn't pushed. He was not pushed by anyone. He just was a bit over-eager on the accelerator, and that did him in.
Yeah, that guy Vince getting up into 9th position. A move on Hayden Gullis down the straight just then. And he is going forward here. Next up, Alex Gillen on a pair of mediums. He's in a very, very good position. Of course, starting on the medium, I believe, but languishing on the hards in 8th. He's certainly a wild card here. Last week's race winner for Ferrari. Can he get back-to-back to wins for the Haas team? He's got a lot of places to go, and he needs a safety car, and a safety car has been deployed because Curbs, a second Williams driver, out of the race here, and we can go picture-in-picture once again with the Williams driver. What has happened there is capitulation for the Williams team. They are out of the Mexican Grand Prix for the Creator Series, and he looks to have a little bit of a wry smile, so I don't know if that is any indication of guilt or what happened, but certainly involved with his chat there. But that's a disappointment for Curbs there, of course, getting his first point in the Creator Series last time out, and I'm sure we'll see what happened to him. But that has caused a safety car. Strategically, what does it mean? Tom has pitted, El Taco has pitted, and they have gone on to the soft tyre for Tom and the medium tyre for El Taco.
Yeah, I'm trying to... I actually have Curbs' chat open, and the reactions are quite gold. Before it happened, one of his community members said, "Look after your tyres," and then this was just followed by someone writing "ah ha 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 ha," followed by "well," and "well then," and "oops." So I think it was just, it looks like from the chat it was just a driver mistake, a driver error there from Curbs.
Yeah, the clip has been posted in chat, so you can have a quick talk through it in radio mode.
But it's he just it was entirely his fault, and he just his first reaction wasn't a "oh no," it was just looking over at chat and being like, "Oh well, guess that happened."
That's the end of the race.
Yeah, it was on the exit of turn 11, and he just clips the curb with the tires, not even with the underbody of the car much, and it unsettles the car enough to send it into a spin and into the left side wall on the exit of turn 11, and the left front wheel immediately comes off. It's a heavy impact, and he was out of the race, and he didn't seem too fussed about it, to be quite honest.
How old was his tyres when he was at that point? Had he pitted at the safety car, or was he running an older pair of mediums?
Before the safety car, they were 18 laps old.
Right, so just struggling with a bit of grip.
Yeah, slightly younger than Tiamat Marduk's, for example. 6 laps older, my bad. 6 laps older than Tiamat Marduk's tyres. 12 laps older than Just Morales, Liam's GB68s, and 13 laps older than for the top 3. So they had a bit of wear in them, but not an excuse, I would say. You have to be able to handle 18 lap old mediums. I gotta admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are at half race distance, or coming up to half race distance. Lap 35 at the moment. We're under our second safety car. This one caused by Curbs. The first one caused by an incident between Dale and Shadow. So, yeah, interesting to see. Couple of safety cars here in quick succession. Not many cars have pitted under safety car this time round. It was Tom and El Taco in 13th and 14th who pitted, and they are on fresher rubber. We have the safety car still out here, so we will go around for another lap. But any thoughts here?
I've been getting some intel on Tiamat Marduk. Apparently he is 2 laps under fuel, and I just cross-referenced that he has gone to minus 1.3 laps now.
Right.
And he's saving more and more just by rolling the car and being in higher gears. He's really saving a lot of fuel. If I go through the field, everyone else in the top 10 is overfueled to some degree. Now, that varies from 0.3 laps, which is not that much, to 2.5 laps, which is quite significant.
Yeah.
And if I look further, Alex Budd is slightly underfueled, but 0.1, so he's perfectly in range, I would say. And what is... Okay, someone needs to talk to Tom about fuel. He is up on fuel. He's overfueled by over 5 laps.
I feel like he's just forgot to do the fuel, right? that's an incredible amount at this point, with only 2 safety cars in. So, yeah, I mean, I think we need to get a jingle sorted, Fuel Watch with Badgerman, because I always absolutely love the Fuel Watch moments through the safety car.
Every time there's someone in the field who has underfueled. I remember in Zandvoort it was Retanius and just Ali. That's where this whole thing got started. The fuel meme, if you will. And because they underfueled by like 5 or 6 laps and they never recovered. And now it's just every time there's one car in the field that just underfuels significantly. This time it's Tiamat Marduk, who is still 0.9 short.
He needs another safety car. He needs another safety car for sure. We've seen it
a lot.
He always underfuels, does Tiamat Marduk. Always expects a safety car, but as we say, can work out badly for drivers. We saw that with Just Ali at Zandvoort, but he's not being caught out by that as Van Geffen.
His tyre temps are dead.
He's going to be struggling
in the top 5.
We always see him struggle at restarts, and there's already concertining between everyone as Van Geffen does a very slow and very late restart. Safso up into second position here already because of that slow restart, but Bushiants will battle down into turn 1, and the inside line is still his. Tiamat Marduk jostling for positions just behind, and Safso does get second position, and Just Ali gets into third position as well. We've seen contact between those two before, and Tiamat Marduk is way off the track there, but Safso into second position here, and our reigning champion having much of the day, and
Vince
that is that guy Vince. He's out of the race. There's a crash at the back.
Wow. Cautions breed cautions. We've had none for the first 26 laps of this race, and now we've had 2 in the span of 10 laps, and we might potentially get a third one, although it seems like we are getting away with this. But I think, you know, if this was real life, there probably would be another caution called for this, because he's on the middle of the track. He's in a very bad position.
Oh, there we are. Safety car deployed. So we do have another safety car. And Tiamat Marduk's answers are praised. Every time he has a restart, with that low fuel, he's thinking, I'm hoping everyone crashes into each other.
I would say Tiamat Marduk has to pit. He can easily go to the end from here on a new set of medium tyres, and he wouldn't lose. Yeah, sure, he would drop down to P14, maybe 50. Although Dirk's going to have to pit, I think, because he was involved in the incident with Vince.
He doesn't pit,
but no, he stays out.
Tom does. Tom does on a pair of softs.
Yeah, he was on a pair of softs. He's now going for mediums to the end, I think. Wow, is safety car on increase? I think it is. I'm just gonna make sure because people have questions. It is in fact. Where do I see that again?
Regulations.
So lost,
I don't know. Somewhere.
Rules and flags. It is on increase. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So on increase in the Creator Series, of course, we don't want cars running into one another. But Tiamat Marduk not pitting, going against your advice there, which is interesting indeed. Safso having a brilliant restart, but it has to be said, the pace of Van Geffen on that restart was incredibly slow, and that caught Bushiants out. He lost 2 positions there. Just Ali getting very aggressive down into the first corner, and Mr. Dale in the chat saying reduced is whack on increased. So Mr. Dale making his case for it. Of course, out of the race, 19th position for Dale, and he is sitting in the grandstand now. Alex Gillen up into 6th position. Here, from the back of the grid, up into 6th position. Of course, didn't qualify, won the race last time out, and only 1 position behind Tiamat Marduk, right behind Tiamat Marduk. The man with the fish helmet, once again, in a situation where he is going to be going battle and wheel to wheel with his co-op teammate. Well, he's not a teammate anyway, but co-op battle, co-op championship creator friend, let's say.
Yeah, and I just looked at the incident that took that guy Vince's race here, and I honestly don't know who to blame here, but there has to be put some blame on someone, and I think that has to go towards Dirk.
And Tiamat Marduk, he's pitted. Tiamat Marduk has listened to your advice and has pitted.
A bit late though.
So a little bit late because he has, of course, probably been. He could have got Dirk Chocolate, but Dirk Chocolate will probably get him. No, he's still coming around the final section.
Someone in the chat. Sorry to interrupt, but someone in the chat probably said, "Hey, Badger said you should pit," and then he's like, "Okay, sure." I'm pretty sure that's what happened here. Got pit 1 lap late, and I checked the clip of Vince, and so what happened is on the exit of turn 3, once again it's turn 3, just like we had for the last safety car with Meraki being out, Vince just normally accelerates, but has Dirk on his outside, and then for whatever reason, Dirk decides not to keep the car straight, but instead turn to the right into the rear of Vince, spinning Vince to the left, into the wall, out of the race. I don't really understand what exactly Dirk was thinking there, if he was thinking at all. But it wasn't exactly the smartest choice to... I mean, there was definitely more space to be had for Dirk to not run into Vince. But it happened. Pretty sure Dirk isn't going to be happy with himself because he lost the front wing. Had to pit for that as well. And now he's trying to prolong the safety car as much as he can, I think, because he's going very slow.
Yeah.
And very far.
I think he's pitted. For another set of mediums. So he wants to get to the end, and he will get to the end. But I think the safety car's still out there at the moment.
I'm not sure he will. He pitted. So he pitted from softs after 3 laps onto mediums. Then on lap 26 with the safety car, with the first safety car, he pitted onto another set of mediums, his second set. He only has 2. Then now, lap 34, he pitted for... Oh, sorry, not lap 34. Lap 37, when this safety car came out, he pitted for his old mediums again that have already done 23 laps. And now he's pitted for the second set of mediums again that have already done 11 laps. So I'm not sure he can make it to the end with tires that have now done 12 laps. It's going to be a challenge, that's for sure.
Badger, interesting question coming in from chat. How many screens do you have? I've got 5 screens if you can count my phone. How many screens do you have in for commentary? Just a two. But Badger has quality over quantity, whereas I just go for like mega desk, Dwight Schrute, screens everywhere.
No. I have 2 monitors. One where I have the game on, and 2 where I constantly switch through everything else. I have telemetry on 4 different windows, 4 screens in one basically. And then I have chat sort of as an overlay over that. And then if I just open my browser, I can watch clips immediately. So it works quite well.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I have all sorts of screens all over the place.
I wish.
Yeah.
if I can tell you right now, I would go for 4 screens, 3 in triples, and then one overhead. But the information I would have, and like I could see everything easily, it'd be so good. But safety car in this lap.
Let's forget. Screen chat is done. Race time. It's the 3rd safety car restart. Van Geffen has a lot of experiences so far. And what will he do? Safso gained a position on the last restart, but going to be right behind Van Geffen. He's been going all over the place, playing a lot of playing games, maybe on the flute in the voice chat, and coming around the final corner, looking to go late again, and he goes, and Safso actually under pressure, and as they come to the line, it's just Ali who's had a brilliant restart for the Ferrari, and he is side by side as they head down towards turn 1. Bushy Ants also looking to make up for a bad restart last time out. Just Ali still too wide. Can Bushy Ants make it 3 wide? He doesn't, but Just Ali will go deep on the brakes. Will there be contact between the McLaren and the Ferrari? There isn't, and actually Safso still fighting through 2 and 3, and a little bit of a moment from Ali, and a little bit of a wobble and that means that Bushy Ants has been able to get Safso. Will he go around the outside and late break? Ali pushing and pushing Mercedes all the way out, and that is Gillen into 4th position. He gets ahead of Safso, and he'll have the inside of turns 5 and 6. GB68 isn't too far away here, and he'll look to go too wide with Safso, who was started in 2nd position, but was caught out by that restart, and it's been an atrocious restart from Safso.
And another yellow flag, this time for Alex, Bud, and Dirk. Once again, Dirk Chocolate being involved in someone else's incident, and his own, obviously, as well. So it seems like Dirk is a bit on a rampage today. He got Q3 earlier in qualifying, and now he said, you know what, I'm just going to ruin myself in the race. And that's what he seems to do. First he takes out Vince, now he's taking out Alex. I haven't seen the incident, maybe he didn't, but, you know, let's just say for the sake of the story, he did.
Yeah, and El Taco Man and Emphatic fighting for 10th position. I think El Taco Man's just got in to 10th, and they're still fighting on the way down to turn 1. Tom has also got in front of Hayden Gullis, so that is a great move from him, but it's 3 wide between Emphatic, El Taco Man, and Tim Marduk gets the both of them down the straight, and into P10 goes Tim Marduk. He's a man on a mission, looking to get to the end on the pair of mediums that he is on now.
Yeah, and you got to remember, I think there are only 2 drivers right now in the top 10 looking to go to the end without pitting again unless there's a safety car. That would be Alex Gillen in P4, although it's going to be a challenge. He's going to have to make these tires last quite a lot, but it's not impossible. And Tiamat Marduk in P10.
Yeah.
El Taco Man could also make it. Infratic can also make it. Razinchai, possible, but again, just like with Alex Gillen, it's going to be a challenge. But everyone else in the top 10, except for Alex Gillen and Tiamat Marduk, still has to pit again for one reason or another, either because these tires they're on won't last, or the tires that they're on would last, but they haven't used 2 different compounds yet.
Yep, so Tiamat Marduk, one of those ones looking to go to the end. Just Ali in 2nd position from Van Geffen. And Tiamat Marduk making another move here on the Silver Arrow. And then McLaren will get into 9th position. He's calmly and patiently cutting his way up the field. 9th position. And he is on a run to the end. He'll be looking for victory if there's no more safety cars to come out and ruin his thunder. Tom is next up. He's on a pair of softs, so he'll be a little bit trickier at this stage. But he doesn't have the penalties that Tom does, and it'll be interesting to see how hard the Alpine and McLaren's battle. Of course, both of them good friends in real life, going to one another's different teams' bases in the UK, and yeah, good respect in real life. Will they have the respect on track between the two? The first driver is Van Geffen, Just Ali in 2nd, Bushy Ants in 3rd. Our pole sitter has fallen out and fallen down the order through the safety cars that we've had, and we've not had a safety car for a number of laps now, so I think we've got out of that stage. Gillen, the big gainer for all those safety cars, had cars just fall off in front of him and managed to get by Safso at that restart. It was a creative and opportunistic move. He is into 4th position. Safso is only 6/10 behind that, and GB6 the 8 in 6th, and Liam in 7th. 8th is Tom, 9th is Tiamat Marduk. Gullis in 10th position. Gullis, I should say. I always say Gillis. It's Gullis.
It's a mixture between Gullis and Gillen.
yeah, that's true. But actually, El Taco Man making a move on Gullis as we speak, up the inside at turn 1, outside of turn 2 for El Taco Man. Squeezed out a little bit there, but Gullis difficult on traction out of there, and it will be another squirt of DRS down the straight. But actually, it's Emphatic looking for a move on the Ferrari, but he does not manage to get the move done down into turn 4 here, battling up and down the field. And Just Ali really close behind Van Geffen. Bushy Ants not too far behind either, and the McLaren Safso still in the fight here. GB68 just dropping a little bit off the fight here, and I don't think involved with the top 5.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars that could end up in the top 5. I mean, Tiamat Marduk is working through the field like a man possessed. But again, a lot of these drivers still have to pit again. And they're going to need a safety car, I think, in order to be in this. Because just pitting onto softs and going for, you know, what would be, I guess, 18, 19, 20 laps might not be enough to catch up to the 2 drivers that are guaranteed to stay out. Well, the 5 drivers really that are guaranteed to stay out, which are Gillen, Tiamat Marduk, and then Takuman, Infratic, Razin, and I feel like Dirk and Alex Butt are falling off a bit too much already after their entanglement earlier after the safety car restart. So it's going to be tricky for them to make this work. Tom versus Tiamat Marduk. Meanwhile, Tiamat Marduk looking for the move, and Tom goes a bit deep, but it works out because of how the track goes. But look at this, Tiamat Marduk here, up the inside, and that should be. He's got so much extra grip on Tom, whose soft tires are already falling off a bit, and up he goes into P8. Next is Liam. Difference in tire wear, 12 laps. So that should be about a second. No, not a second a lap. It should be about 8 tenths, 7 tenths a lap difference for Tiamat Marduk in his favor, and he should be able to make that move happen rather shortly, as Liam does not have any DRS. He's over a second behind GB68 and P6, so that should be an easy overtake to be made there.
Start down the start-finish straight. Just Ali right on the back of Van Geffen here. He started in 18th position. Could he be going to the front of the pack here on lap 46? He's going to go around the outside of the Alfa Romeo into turn 1. He'll have the inside of turn 2, park it on the apex. It will be another squish of DRS, and I think he'll be able to defend it. It's whether Van Geffen chooses to use ERS around the outside, squeezed out maybe a little, but wanting to stay in, and does just lose the inside of turn 5 there. Bushiant's not doing enough to capitalise on the Alfa Romeo going backwards, but don't expect the Alfa Romeo to take that sitting down. It may be the sister team in terms of power and units, and maybe the mother team, but this is the Creator Series, and Van Geffen will be desperate to get back into the leaders race. Both first and second have never run a race in the Creator Series, but look at the pace from Just Ali. He's almost created a second gap there immediately through the fast left and right of that section. Gap is about 7 tenths. If he can find 3 tenths more, he won't have DRS down the straight, but I think Van Geffen will have DRS, so he'll be able to fight back soon. Gillen in 4th position, who did start absolutely dead last, right on the back of this battle, with Sasso, the McLaren, just behind, and he will think about a move down the long straight, but DRS will be active for the car ahead. That's Bushiant's in 3rd, our pole sitter.
Yeah, meanwhile, Alex Butt has retired in the pit lane. However, his car decided to exit the pit lane, as here goes Van Geffen up the inside into turn 1. Is the outside for 2, and he has to wait. There is the car now on the right side there from the camera, on the left side from the onboard. That was the retired car of Alex, but thankfully not causing any issues.
Gillen up the inside of Bushy. Gillen up the inside of Bushy, and they look to go too wide through 4, 5, and 6. It's going to be so hard to go around the outside of 6, but if you can keep 2 wheels in, it'll be the inside of the 7, 11 complex, and I think he doesn't maintain that position, but great fighting between the cars there, and Tiamat Marduk is right on the back of this battle. 7th position for Tiamat Marduk, and he is within a DRS train of Just Ali, and GB's made a mistake, so he's going to be under pressure from Tiamat Marduk. Tiamat Marduk thinks about it, pulls out of the toe, but tucks back in, lives to fight another day, and GB68, as we come through the stadium complex, is going to be under pressure here as we go on to lap 48. The McLaren of Tiamat Marduk looking to close down. One of the drivers who could run to the end on the mediums they're on. We expect everyone ahead will have to pit, but Tiamat Marduk wants to get the track position so he can pit with the cars around him if a safety car comes. And as you said, at the last safety car, Tiamat Marduk had to pit. The strategies dictates that's what should happen, and it is proving to be the right thing at the moment in the race.
Yeah, it certainly is, as GB with another moment, but Tiamat Marduk with a moment of his own, right, almost in sync. And here he goes up the inside of GB, goes a bit deep, and that is the position done, making sure that GB knows who is ahead here, goes up into P6, and is hunting down more and more. But once again, remember, Tiamat Marduk is not the only one who goes to the end from here. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I do think that Alex Gillen is going to try to go to the end as well. However, Tiamat Marduk has 12 laps of tyre wear advantage on Alex Gillen here. Definitely nothing to scoff at. Certainly something to keep in mind. So, as long as Tiamat Marder can get past Safzo here, that would be crucial, because once the top 3 pit, he would be in DRS of Alex Gillen basically guaranteed. Will Safzo play the team game here, or will he instead just, play for his own gain, trying to stay close to the top 4?
Yep, the top 3 in the championship last year, all in the top 5 here, sorry, in the top 6 here, and Safso, Tiamat Marduk, Just Ali were the championship protagonists to the end. Tiamat Marduk looking to get his second win in the Creator Series. Just Ali, currently in first position, never had a win in the Creator Series, but multiple podiums underneath his belt, so he is looking for the top step to become his, and to finally get his name in the record books. Tiamat Marduk right behind Safso. Safso certainly not looking to play team order straight away, and is frustrating his teammate. Safso recognises that his teammate is probably a championship rival and didn't have a great race last time out, either of them in the end, but Tiamat Marduk did finish 5th position after his mistake, but Safso didn't finish at all, and he says that I'm a bit of a curse, actually seeming to do very well here, and after the penalties, it is interesting, but actually Van Geffen has lost out second position to Bushiance, but I'm sure he'll be keeping an eye on the penalties applied. Just Ali, 3 seconds worth of penalties. Bushiance has 6 seconds worth of penalties. That would push him way down the order. As we spoke about, Van Geffen in 3rd, he would take the lead if the race finished now. It's not going to finish now, and Gillen in 4th position with Tiamat Marduk only 2 places behind. He will recognise that front as Bushiance goes up to the inside of Just Ali for the first place in the race around the outside at turn 2, and he gets the job done. Just Ali maybe a little bit offline here, and I wonder if Van Geffen will think about closing down. Oh, he goes onto the grass up the inside for turn 4. He gets the move done. He goes late on the brakes. There's contact between the two. Gillen having a little bit of a mistake of his own, and he'll try and go up the inside 3 wide into turn 6. This often doesn't work. There's contact. Somehow they're all going in the right direction. Tiamat Marduk has got into 5th position, and Gillen up into 3rd here, and I think who has fallen down? It's Just Ali. He's in 4th position. Van Geffen in 2nd, and Gillen in 3rd. Tiamat Marduk will be next to have a go at Just Ali, but Just Ali will want to fight right back to this one. He has led the race today, and he has fallen down massively just in 1 lap to 4th position.
Yeah, unbelievable. 3 wide in that section is borderline impossible, and yet they made it work. Alex Gillen with the penalty, and that one also has major race implications. Meanwhile, the top 8 all staying out right now.
Yeah.
The pit window onto soft.
Gillen closing down on 2nd position, I just want to say, and he does make the overtake before turn 1. That's done. Tiamat Marduk behind, looking to go the inside of Just One Ali, has to back out of it. Thinking about that one will have just cost him a little bit of time and pace, maybe vulnerable to his teammate behind, but I think he'll win that one outright. And Gillen in 2nd position here. He looks to close down on Bushiance, and the gap is a 2nd as things stand at the moment, so he does have DRS from the straight before him, but he needs to close that gap, and he does get with under 1 second to our race leader. The Silver Hour is Bushiance. It's not the right name on the driver standings, but I assure you that is who it is, the grippy one, leading the race here on lap 51.
Yeah, meanwhile, Alex Gillen and Tiamat Marduk separated by more than a second because there's 2 cars in between. Tiamat Marduk needs to get past them if possible. He needs to do it quick as well. He must not lose this the touch to Alex Gillen here, as again I expect the P1, P3, P4, P6, 7 and 8 to pit within the next 2 to 3 laps. So far they're staying out, it seems. Anyone coming in? Nope, absolutely not. Okay, a bit surprising, but yeah, they have to start thinking about their final pit stop. Maybe they want to extend as long as they can, hoping for a safety car. But at some point, they have to pit. They can't sacrifice their whole race hoping for a safety car. It's not viable. They have to pit at some point. And Tiamat Marduk needs to get past at least Just One Ali and Jorrit Jan van Geffen. Those 2 are a bit of a thorn in his side, as Gillen is getting ever so close to Bushiance here for the lead potentially this lap or next. I think Gillen is going to try to make that move and run away with it. He knows he has to make up some time on Tiamat Marduk. He knows that's his rival, not just in the co-op career, but also here today. Those are the two drivers fighting over the win. A bit of a, bit of a duel far away right now. And when I say far away, it's 2 seconds. It's not that crazy, but it's more than 1 second, which is the DRS window. So he cannot, Tiamat Marduk cannot allow this to grow any further. Alex Gillen has to increase it because he has a 3-second time penalty. So both drivers forced to be at their very best right now, and this is what we love to see.
Yeah, Alex Gillen is a smart driver. He'll recognise that the car has a penalty and he needs to make a clean move if he's going to do it. He does go too wide into turn 1 and I think it's going to be over and done before the braking zone, and he cuts back onto the racing line. That's first position from Gillen. He's gone from 20th to 1st in the race, and once again, back-to-back weeks, Gillen leads the Creator Series here in Mexico, and it is fantastic stuff from him, but he has that 3-second penalty, as we say, and he has the chance that he may have to pit again. Tiamat Marduk, the car we are expecting not have to pit, and he is right tucked behind the back wing of his championship rival last year. Neither of them won it, just Ali and Tiamat Marduk. Of course, Safso, who was the champion last time, 4th, 5th and 6th were the championship protagonists last time out, and just Ali, who didn't race last week, he was away, is come back with a strong result here, but he's fallen down the order, and Tiamat Marduk is right behind on that fresher rubber, and these cars ahead will be just hoping for a safety car, because Tiamat Marduk only 2 times behind, a little bit of a wobble into turn 12 there. That's not going to cost him too much, as we have this fantastic angle through the stadium complex. Around the final 2 corners we go. Tiamat Marduk will look to make a position on Just Ali and potentially Van Geffen down the straight.
No DRS for Van Geffen.
Right, he will be vulnerable.
For Van Geffen.
We have the race story. Tiamat Marduk started in 10th position. Not a great qualifying from him, but he's come through the order, and his strategy looks to be in the pound seat at the moment on lap 54. And he closes and closes on Just Ali, but Just Ali also closing on Van Geffen. He's going very defensive, parking the bus through 1, 2 and 3, parking it on the apex. And actually Just Ali not able to carry his momentum through the corner because of it, but he does look to the outside at turn 4. The Ferrari on the Alfa Romeo, and the Just Ali makes contact with Van Geffen. Van Geffen will be very annoyed by that, but it was all fair, and I think Just Ali into 3rd position here. He has a 3-second penalty, so it's not the end of the world that he has gone by for Van Geffen, but falling backwards here towards the end of the race, and Tiamat Marduk tucked up right behind the wing of the Alfa Romeo, coming out of the 7-11 section of corners down to turn 12. It will be a flash of DRS, but Van Geffen will be able to defend into turn 12, and around the stadium section they go. Just Ali into 3rd position, but Gillen and Bushiant battling as well at the front. Let's not forget, 2 tenths is the gap as they come on to lap 55.
Yeah, and oh, there we go. Just when Ali finally pitting, and that is not great for Tiamat Marduk for now, because Van Geffen has DRS. However, Tiamat Marduk says, I don't care that you got DRS. I got it too. And I got battery, and I want this position, and he goes for this position into turn 1 up the inside, and I think he's got it. He does have it. Oh, and now the hunt for Alex Gillen, who has dropped behind Bushy Ants, begins. Tiamat Marduk is gonna hunt him down. Oh, this is gonna be interesting here. This is make or break for both Gillen and Tiamat Marduk. Whoever makes the most of this part of the race will win. And right now it looks like Tiamat Marduk is in the driver's seat despite being in P3. He's got the better tyres. He's not being held up by someone in front.
Oh, a penalty! A penalty for Tiamat Marduk.
3-second time penalty. I can't believe it.
That is going to be frustrating. That means he has 3 more warnings, though, and that's the same amount of penalties of Gillen. But it means that he, 2 more warnings, I guess. 2 more free warnings, you are right. But Van Geffen in 4th position will know that the cars ahead all have penalties. He just needs to keep up with them, and it could be a very good result. In fact, it could be the top spot for him. As we see Bushy Ants pits here, and Gillen takes the lead of the race. And it is 1st and 2nd for the Co-op Championship protagonists. Once again, the host of the virtual grandstand looking to make this a grandstand finish with Tiamat Marduk. But do you think Gillen has to pit here?
I don't think so. Looking at the situation, his tyres are 29 laps old, but we had just about 17 safety cars in those 29 laps. and I think that's an underestimate. But no, we had like 3 safety cars in that time period. So it's not actually 29 laps. It's probably closer to 22, 23 lap tire wear. And that's manageable with 15 laps remaining. He can make it to the end. They're going to fall off a bit. Again, Tiamat Marduk has 12 lap advantage, but realistically with 2 safety car periods that Gillen went through with those tires that Tiamat Marduk didn't, I think the gap is actually closer to, say, 6 to 8 laps difference. Still enough, but it's going to be very, very interesting how these two match up. Let's see what their lap times say now that neither of them had DRS this lap. And I can see Tiamat Marduk lost 2/10 this lap to Alex Gillen. It's not looking good for the Aussie.
Gillen actually having his fastest middle sector, personal best middle sector for him. Just Ali setting the absolute fastest middle sector. You expect that on the new tyre, and he sets the fastest lap to boot. So he'll be picking up a point if he gets into the top 10, and he has, because Van Geffen has pitted, and he is in 11th position here. But Gillen and Tiamat Marduk will have one eye backwards here and one eye forward. Both of these with penalties. Safs, though, really not too far behind this fight either. Shouldn't be ruled out, I don't think, but I think he will have to pit again because I think he's only driven that medium tyre. So first and second position is Gillen and Tiamat Marduk. The McLaren's having a good day in second or third at the moment, but we expect Safso to have to pit again. GB68 not doing too bad there in fourth position. Liam, no penalties, he's in fifth, he's running well here. And El Taco has cycled his way up into sixth position here. I think he's probably maybe got to pit again. I have no idea what his pit strategy is at the moment, but yeah.
He's going to the end. He's going to the end. He has pitted enough times and on different compounds, and his medium tyre that he's on right now is totally fine. He will go to the end. P3, 4, and 5 won't. So El Taco Man is net P3 right now out of absolutely nowhere.
Yep, so they have crossed the line, and again, it's faster for Alex Gillen out there. The gap.
No.
But, is it not?
Also for Tiamat Marduk, 2.5 tenths he gained this time. So they're trading barbs. Last lap again, or previous lap, 2 laps ago, Alex Gillen gained 1.5 tenths. This lap, or last lap, Tiamat Marduk gained 2.5 tenths. So everything you can do, I can do better. That's what we're seeing between these two right now. Shades of the co-op career between those two at Mexico from, I think it was a month ago. It was the one that I actually engineered Ben in, except this time Ben is on a much better strategy, and yeah, that's a self-insult, but I'll take that. But no, this time it works out much better, and he just needs to gain that time consistently. Lap after lap after lap, and that's going to be the challenge here. He has to make up this. 2 tenths is enough easily. Hell, 1/10 of a second per lap would be enough at this point. If he just consistently eats 1/10 out of that gap, he will get DRS by lap 67, 68, and he will then close in more and more and more. Last lap, again, 2 tenths gained. The pace is very good for Tiamat Marduk. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing. For Alex Gillen, it's not looking too great, but he has track position. He can defend. We know how good his defending is. And this is all to play for both drivers. Let's
not forget about the cars that have pitted out there. Just Ali going up the inside of Gullis into turn 1. He is up into 7th position on a pair of soft tyres. They'll be very, very strong in the early stages. Bushy Ants 12 seconds back on GB68. 10 seconds, I should say, in fact. And he is going to be looking to close down. The gaps all over the place on my own personal timesheet, so I am having to use the gaps on screen, which aren't always exactly right. But Bushy Ants roughly 10 seconds behind GB68 on those softs. He has a lot of penalties. Safso in a very good position. He's got no penalties out there and looking to run long here. Certainly not doing the strategy that others have done and pitted, but maybe he'll pit for a later pair of softs or hope for a safety car here. But he actually runs wide, actually through the 7-Eleven, through the stadium, and he does peel into the pits. He picks up a 3-second penalty, peels into the pits, and as I said, he's going to run long. He doesn't. Excellent. So GB68 also pitting, and that puts Bushy Ants into third position after those pits are dealt with. Tiamat Marduk has closed the gap very slightly to Gillen on that lap, and the gap is roughly what is the gap between these two? Roughly
1.4.
1.4.
Right now. And once again, Tiamat Marduk gained 2/10 on the last lap. That seems to be now, for 3 laps in a row, he gained 2/10 each lap. That seems a consistent trend. So I would say the difference between the two drivers is 2/10 per lap. That Tiamat Marduk has an advantage on his tires. So he just needs to be patient. Don't burn his battery too much. And he needs to have something left to fight with in order to potentially overtake Alex Gillen. This is going to come down to the last couple of laps.
Yeah, so slowly edging away. We have 11 laps left after this one. And no, is it 10 laps left after this one? Yeah, I can't quite remember. But anyway, 11 laps. 11 laps left. Coming through the stadium section, around the final corner we go. Ooh. And it's going to be very close. Alex Gillen having a little bit of a wobble there, maybe through 14 and 15.
I tell you what, I just checked the timing screen, and I tell you what, Bushy Ants 15 seconds behind right now. Watch that gap come down very, very quickly. Last lap, not lap 60, I'm talking lap 59. He gained 1.6 seconds on Alex Gillen and 1.4 seconds on Tiamat Marduk. Lap 60, he gained a second on Tiamat Marduk and 1.4 on Alex Gillen. Tiamat Marduk actually gaining 3/10 on the last lap now. So had a better than average lap there compared to Alex Gillen. As we have a yellow flag. That is for Infratic, I think. Yeah.
Final sector. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at the moment. So, Van Geffen, he's got up into 5th position and move on El Taco. And he is looking to close down on he's looking to close down on a Ferrari ahead. That is just Ali, who's in 4th position. Really, he just wants to stay within the DOS toe of the cars ahead. If he could get to there, then he could be picking up big positions just on penalty count back at the front here. He's the furthest car up without penalties. It'll be a dramatic drive from here if he can get back into the reaches of the top 2. But Tiamat Marduk has closed down. No, has he? Yeah, he has closed down. There's a yellow at sector 3 there. I worried who that would be. Oh, it's in the pit lane, and someone has retired from the race, have they? Nope.
That is Infratic, yes.
Infratic, yeah.
That's why he was
out of
going
race.
so slow. I think he's had enough, and he just slowly drove the car to the pit lane and decided to park it there. Last lap, ooh, Tiamat Marduk and Alex Gillen were actually equal. 1 minute 18.7, and Bushy gained 9/10 of a second on both of them. Gap is now under 14 seconds. I think Bushy is going to run out of time here. He's not going to gain enough to make this a challenge for the win here. So it's going to come down to Gillen and Tiamat Marduk unless we get another safety car. At which point, I don't know what I would be doing, to be quite honest. If I was Gillen or Tiamat Marduk, pitting for softs again. I don't know. This is the time where you're sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yep. It'd be interesting to see how this plays out over the closing laps here. Aidan Gillis has pitted very, very late here, and he's gone onto a pair of softs. That's demoted him into the last of the runners, 13th positions, 4.5 seconds behind Dirk Chocolate. Maybe they'll have a bit of action later on here, but Safso...
Once again, your gaps are a bit off.
Yeah, but my telemetry is also off, so I can't really tell. My telemetry is also having a day as well, so we're just working with what's told. Please correct me when I'm wrong, but Safso has also got by El Taco on those soft tyres, and as you say, I think Bushants is just going to run out of a head of steam here at the end, but Tiamat Marduk looks to be closing down at the front, and I think that position has just staged. Once again, it's an arms race between Gillen and Tiamat Marduk, and Gillen looks to be holding Tiamat Marduk at arm's length. How many times have we seen Tiamat Marduk just behind Gillen in the Creator Series hunting for a win?
Yeah, plenty of times, really. And this time it actually looks like Alex Gillen is having a better time now. The last 2 laps, they were equal on time. 1:18.7 and 1:18.9. This lap, in the first sector alone, Gillen gained 2/10 on the McLaren behind him. So it's looking very good. He lost another 10th, though, or one of those 2/10 in the middle sector again.
Absolutely,
so
nip and
they're
tuck.
trading, they're going back and forth, they're trading bobs, and at the end of the day, Tiamat Marduk not able to get within a second of that Haas in front of him.
Yeah, nip and tuck between these two, and we'll have to see how this one plays out. A one mistake from either of these drivers could be costly for them. Tiamat Marduk won back in round 2 of last season. He hasn't won since. Gillen doesn't have to go that far back for a win. Of course, winning in Bahrain last time out, winning in China as well. Every time I've commentated, he's led a race so far. Could he make it 3 in a row for me commentating? It'll be back to back for the first time in the Creator Series. It'd be a driver taking the win for the third time in the first time in the Creator Series. And of course, Tiamat Marduk, one of those drivers who wants to join Gillen at 2 wins apiece. Bushy Ants also a few seconds back from this leading duo. He has won before back at Zandvoort. Just Ali hasn't. He is looking for a win here. He's looking to set up his championship charge here because he didn't race last time out. But Tiamat Marduk knows that if he could just creep up on Gillen and keep the pressure high, then there's every chance that this win has not drifted away from him. Very differing strategies between the two. And we saw Gillen absolutely wilt on those hards a few laps ago. Well, it was during the first half of the race, but that has come alive. As soon as those safety cars came out, all good for Tiamat Marduk. And Tiamat Marduk got over his fuel issues as well.
I'm going to have to check that real quick. One moment. Because I have to disable the telemetry in order to read the steering wheel. Yeah, he has 0.6 laps over fuel now, so absolutely no fuel issues there for Tiamat Marduk. I think for anyone at this point, really.
Yep. So Van Geffen only a second and a half behind us, just Ali. The 2 cars in front having 6 seconds worth of penalties applied to their time, and Van Geffen has done an incredible job keeping it within track limits here. It's so easy to get track limits warnings here at this circuit. So easy. We've seen them absolutely stack up for our field. Actually, a quick count of the runners left. We only have 3 drivers out there who have yet to get a penalty of some kind. Tom running around with 15 seconds worth of penalties. He's absolutely stacked them like a Whopper meal out there.
That's one way to put it. That's for sure. Yeah, he has, and it's something that I think Tom has been struggling with for a while. He likes to extend the track limits beyond what is legal, and it's not really helpful in this kind of race in particular because it is just so long that everyone gets a penalty or two. Almost everyone gets a penalty or two. Liam and Van Heffen are the only two, and Hayden Gullers are the only 3 drivers still in this race who haven't gotten a penalty, and everyone else has at least 1. So
Tom just getting 10th position there off Vasanchai. A whiff of cooperation between the two. Tom on those softs, but into the points he goes, and he's going to close down on GB68 next. And these two worked well during the early stages of the race, but Tom had that moment out of turn 12. Not Tom, sorry, Vasanchai had that moment out of turn 12, and they've been running around the bottom of the points all race, it seems like. But yeah, Tom in to the top 10, but of course those penalties applied will probably put him firmly out of it. Gullis closing down on Dirk Chocolate. 2 seconds is a gap for P13, and Van Geffen.
Tiamat Marduk within 1.1 seconds now. It's getting really close. He's not quite there yet for DRS, but a good stadium section. Again, under 1.1, but over 1.0. Will he have DRS? He might. He might have just gotten it. We gotta wait a moment here. I think he may have just gotten DRS. Does it show? No, he missed out. He barely missed out. That is unbelievable. He just missed out on DRS by a hair's width.
He's closing down the straight though, so seeming to have better straight line speed. And of course we won't have DRS activation for here, so again, no DRS. So frustrating. I really do dislike single activations for double DRS zones. Not a fan of that at all myself. But yeah, we see Tiamat Marduk. He's going to have to keep the pressure on high, and I think he does. I think just within a second is the gap. Gillen starting to feel the Aussie breathe down his neck from afar, and we're going to have an absolute grandstand finish between these two. Do not go anywhere. If you haven't already followed the Creator Series, drop us a follow. We really do appreciate it. Looking to get to 1,000 very soon, and Tiamat Marduk has got the DRS here, and he's going to close down towards turn 12, keep it tight between the stadium section, and if he does that, he'll have DRS down the long main straight, and then we have a battle on to the end. McLaren versus Haas, and the reserve driver of Alex Gillen again in the hunt for the race win here. Tiamat Marduk likes a late lunge, shown us he will do that, and as he crosses over the line, does he get DRS again? Gillen just playing. Oh no, he does. He does. Wow. He does have it. DRS active on my screen. Okay, let's.
Okay, but yeah, you are correct, because his speed is much higher. That's So it's just a glitch, apparently, a visual glitch on my screen, but he definitely did have it in visible by his significant advantage in straight line speed. So he is now firmly within DRS with 4 laps remaining. If you're watching right now, do not go anywhere.
Yeah, Bushiant's 8 seconds behind, 6 seconds behind this trio. Actually, telemetry jumping all over the place, but I think he's out of this fight. He will be looking for third position at best. Van Geffen has got by Just Ali for 4th. That means that he could creep into back-to-back podiums, but Tiamat Marduk looking a bit loose and leery through 7 to 11, and now he closes down again. He'll have DRS and close to the stadium, and the gap is 5 tenths as we head on to lap 69. It is through the stadium section for one final time. It's not one final time, but it is coming up to the final time, and Tiamat Marduk around the final corner is going to have DRS. I think he's just going to think about charging his battery and having a lunge at the end, but Gillen will know that and try to keep his battery high. What is it looking at ERS levels?
ERS levels currently, Tiamat Marduk. Oh, we have a yellow flag, but if it's a safe, no, it's not a safety car. Can't be. It's too late at this point. He's going around the outside. Tiamat Marduk's trying it on lap 69. That almost was a nice overtake, but he has another opportunity here down this straight up to turn 4. And once again, round the outside, he's going to have to go against Alex Gillen, who does not go deep. Oh. And I think Tiamat Marduk has it. Gillen tries the cutback, does not work. Tiamat Marduk into the lead with 2.5 laps remaining.
Yeah, incredible. Tiamat Marduk takes the lead of the race here. A huge wobble from my PC down the start-finish straight. I think a reset from the game or something. But we are back and seeing the visuals, and Tiamat Marduk has first position over Gillen. Both of these having 3 seconds worth of penalties, so they are absolutely fair on that one. But Gillen right behind Tiamat Marduk. We see a 5-second time penalty for Tom coming into the pits. He's been speeding in the pit lane, hasn't he? But Gillen will want to fight back with Tiamat Marduk down the start-finish straight. Once again, trading positions, first and second in the Creator Series. We've seen this movie before, and over the finish line they go for the penultimate time. It will be 2 laps of racing left as Gillen closes down, and he will think of a move at the inside into turn 1, and the Haas driver gets the move done, but Tiamat Marduk will try to keep it too wide into turn 2, has to just drop behind there, but this is going to be a traded position potentially on the final lap. I wonder if Tiamat Marduk will just play the long game here and aim to have DRS on the final lap, knowing how powerful it is down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, that is the question. I think Tiamat Marduk did it exactly right. He attacked on an odd lap, and the race ends on an odd lap. So now Alex Gillen took back the lead, but on an even lap. And that means Tiamat Marduk is going to get another chance on lap 71 of 71. Double DRS down the main straight, and they both have at least 1 warning to spare as well. So there's an opportunity there to be had for Tiamat Marduk to make the overtake. Oh,
Time,
it goes super slow.
Time for an ultimate bottle by racking up another penalty, says Shriebel. Let's hope there's no penalty. Tim McMurdoch has a huge wobble out to turns 14 and 15. That means he's lost a significant amount of ground down the start-finish straight, and that little crack from Tim McMurdoch may mean that Gillen has won this one, but down towards turn 1 they go. Tim McMurdoch does close, and he'll be thinking all the time about that move in to turn 4, and Gillen knows that. He tries to park the car on the apex, block the momentum of the McLaren driver in second position, and I think that gap is too wide, and I think on the power it was all over the place, and Larry through the final corner. Now Tim McMurdoch will have one more semi-overtaking opportunity. He'll know that. He'll have to keep firmly with him through 7s to 11, keep right in that pace, and then throw it up the inside at turn 12 and hope that he can get this move done. We know he likes a late move. We saw it at Bahrain. There was contact between the two of them. It demoted Tim McMurdoch down to 5th position, but Alex Gillen seems to have managed the 7 to 11 very well. And will it be a late lunge? He's already looking up the inside. He's going to go late on the brakes, but I don't think it's enough. And Alex Gillen is looking to take back-to-back wins again, late on the brakes by Tim McMurdoch. We have the fireworks and pyrotechnics blaring out of Mexico as Gillen around the final corner. Nothing separates him. A huge movement from Tim McMurdoch. He crashes into the wall, and there's a chance that he could lose second position here as Bushians comes round. He has a 6-second penalty. I think Tim McMurdoch will just snip him to it, but Van Geffen has every chance at sneaking up into second position here, and once again he does. It's Gillen from Van Geffen from Tim McMurdoch in the Creator Series at Mexico.
Unbelievable. Tim McMurdoch could have had the win. Instead, he barely ends up on the podium, losing second place to Jorrit Jan Van Geffen and Alex Gillen with the 3rd win in the Creator Series. Gotta remember, no other driver has 2, and he has 3 now. That is incredible stuff by Alex Gillen. And what a last lap fight we had between the two. Unbelievable. And this is what the Creator Series produces week in and week out. Man, I love this series. I really do. This is incredible.
Put that in the top 10 bottles of the Creator Series. Tim McMurdoch was in the prime position to overtake on the final lap. Had that mistake out of the final 2 corners. That meant he couldn't attack into turn 1. He was too far away in turn 4. And applying the pressure into turn 12 wasn't an option. He had to come so close through the stadium section. Around the final corner, that pushing too much means that he lost out to Gillen, and he lost out to Van Geffen, again finishing second position thanks to a Tim McMurdoch bottle. And these two are still first and second in the championship. The Haas driver this weekend filling in as a reserve role for just Hun, I believe. He has picked up another win in the Creator Series. That's 3 for him, and every time I commentate he has won a race in the Creator Series. That's a really niche fact if you want one, but unbelievable from Gillen, and clearly I'm a lucky charm for him.
There you go. There you go. Unbelievable. From last to first, the last to first judge. We talked about this earlier with Alex Gillen. We said it was possible. I didn't want to put a percentage on it, in part because I was worried that exactly this was going to happen. And it did happen. So, unbelievable stuff from Alex Gillen there. Just absolutely incredible. And I think Tim McMurdoch may have been possessed by the ghost of Jamie Mells, because think back to Silverstone.
Yeah, second round.
Silverstone. Tim McMurdoch's win came off a spin by Jamie Mells in the final corner. And now Tim McMurdoch bottles a P2 and a potential win with a spin in the final corner. Everything comes full circle in racing, and everything comes full circle in the Creator Series. That's just how we operate over here.
He'll be mighty gutted with that one, I am sure. And we'll jump over to the interviews very shortly. There's confirmation of the results on the screen. At the moment, it is Alex Gillen who leads the championship. 50 points, I believe, he has in the championship to lead. Second is Van Geffen. And I think Tim McMurdoch may have just crept into third in the championship here. I will have a quick nosy at that screen, and it is in fact Tim McMurdoch in third, Meraki in fourth. Yes. What a wild end. And we can switch back over to the intermission screen because that is the end of racing here for the Creator Series. We will have interviews coming up very, very soon. In fact, we could try and get Van Geffen in almost immediately here and see if I can just get his link to work here. But yes, who's your driver today? That's what I want to ask.
I mean, if you start last and you finish first, there can only be one, and it's Alex Gillen, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yep. So Alex Gillen, last to first challenge, absolutely fantastic out there, and we're going to get Jorrit Van Geffen into the commentary booth soon. Can you drag him in? Because I, for whatever reason, don't have permission to do it. Not trusted at the Creator Series by Dirt Chocolate. That's what that is.
Hold on. Who do you want me to drag?
Van Geffen. Let's get Van Geffen in first.
Okay. Let's go with him first.
Hello. Sorry to cut you off mid-conversation. I did say last week we needed to get a cool-down room going, but you're live on screen, and it is a second position in a row in the Creator Series. And once again, thanks to a Team at Marduk bottle. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, that was quite an intense race, I must say. Leading a lot in the race and dictating the pace, but also working with the P2 guys, and often in the race it changed up who was in P2, so I had to adapt to each driver. Bushi, for example, is a very smart and seasoned and experienced league racer, so I could talk to him like, okay, you can pass me now, I can pass you, and we could like tow each other along. Ale, he is a bit more aggressive, he goes for the move, which is good, but he uses a lot of his battery, and that causes him to blink a bit early in the race, whereas I'm saving a bit of battery, and then he got the consequences later on in the race because he just didn't have a battery anymore. This race was about minimalizing the amount of penalties, warnings, and all that. I ended up getting only one warning this race.
That is remarkable.
Yeah.
For Mexico, that is really remarkable, and that ultimately gave you second position. Was that always in the back of your mind? Maybe the race pace isn't quite there. You did lead at times today, but that will to keep it within track limits has got you. And did you know that maybe it could give you an opportunity towards the end to rack up some more points?
Before the race started, I told myself, I even told the other guys, like, I'd rather lose 2 seconds on the track, like early or mid race phase, or lose positions than getting warnings. Like at the end, you saw, like, I got P2 because Ben spun, and all the other guys at 3 seconds or 6 seconds, and it proved itself. I took it a bit easy on the track, which also resulted in a bit lower position maybe on the track, but you get it back when you keep it within the limits.
Yep. So congratulations. That elusive win still just a little bit far away. Saudi Arabia next week. What are you thinking of your chances there? You've come out of the blocks on all firing on all cylinders here in season 2. Saudi Arabia, could it be your chance at a first win?
Well, I'm quite happy with what I've been able to do so far. Next track, Jeddah. I'm good at street circuits, but it's a bit high speed, and I'm a bit less at that. So I'm just gonna see how it goes. Gonna get some practice in with no line, with Mr. Yona. Gotta make sure that we improve ourselves. And you know what? I have no expectations. We're just gonna see how it goes. We'll see.
Yeah, well, congratulations, and well done again on second position. We'll see how it goes for you next week. But let's move over to our next interviewee. Can we get should we just get Alex and Ben in together, because they are a bit of an old married couple, aren't they? And I'm sure they'll have
say that to their face.
Happily. They can hear it all afterwards. But let's drag them in and get eyes on Tiamat Marduk, who finished in third position in the race, and falling down right at the end there. Tiamat Marduk, again, a bit of a last lap bottle from yourself, would you say?
I'm going all in for the win. I was trying to get the ultimate switchback of dreams, and maybe Alex get a little wriggle on himself. So I was thinking about the win, wasn't thinking about consolidating P2. Oh well, still got a podium though.
Yeah, really. Were you a bit nervous? Because, of course, you got passed by Bushy Ants. Did you think, oh, that's one position gone, maybe 2 positions? Were you aware of the penalty situation? Or was it just, oh, I didn't get the win, oh well, kind of situation?
I was aware of the penalty situation, and I was kind of hoping Alex would get an extra 3 seconds. I got a BS warning at one point. I was hoping to get it removed, but then I just cut later anyway, so that's out the window. So, yeah, just need to be more consistent next time.
Yeah, did you really feel, because you had that switch in the final safety car, you switched to mediums. Actually, Badgett immediately said, you need to get off of those tyres and onto a fresh pair of tyres. But then you delayed a lap. Did you think maybe if you'd gone a lap earlier, that could have resulted in any further gains in the race, or do you think that's your lot, really?
No, I stayed out the extra lap so I could preserve 1 lap of tyre saving, and it only cost me 1 position to Tom, and I overtook him anyway, quite easily. So it didn't cost me anything.
Yeah, Tom in chat, I believe he's raided us at least. So thank you very much for the raid, Tom. And obviously easily overtaken by such skill of Tiamat Marduk. Third position. It's unfortunate. We have Alex Gillen as well here. He's on mute. Our race winner. I thought we'd drag you both in because, as I said, you're a bit of an old married couple, you two. Alex Gillen,
what do you mean by that?
a race win. And I just want to say, every time I commentate your races, 3 times I have. 3 times you've won. So you want to keep me around. Do you know what I mean? We've got to. You scratch my back, I scratch back yours. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Oh, thanks so much, man. I'm honestly buzzing. That was mad. I can't believe that race. Last to first in Creator Series. Are you joking? No idea how I've done that, but what a race. What a race. I got damage lap 2, I think. And I went on hard. I was just waiting for a safety car. Then it did come, and then I ended up on a similar strategy to everyone else, but obviously I'd already used the hards, so I was able to go to the end, whereas the rest of the guys had to box. But just fighting my way through, I had to be aggressive. So a big send on a safety car restart as well at the inside. I had to go for it to try and get anywhere near the front, but oh my god, what a race! What a race! Yeah,
huge race, and I've just moved away from the cat because I had no idea what you're doing, Tim McMurdoch. But a little bit of cat cam there from what's your cat's name, Tim McMurdoch?
Luna.
Let's see the cat. I want to see the cat again. Get the cat back out. I didn't know what you're doing with your camera. I didn't know if you realised you were on camera or not. There we are, supporting all the way, and just sitting next to Daniel Ricciardo. You like to see it. Going back to you, Gillen. Last to first in the Creator Series. Coming into the race, did you think that was on at all, or did you think, I'll see where I finish?
Well, put it this way. I said to my chat, I said, if I manage to win this race, I should just retire right here, right now. That's it. I'm done. I've peaked. Let's go work at Mackey's for the rest of my life. Because I don't know. It's the short answer. I did not expect to do that. I think my target was top 5. That was where I was aiming for, and I was like, podium would be a mega result. Win is like, godly stuff. So no, I definitely didn't aim for that. But I think once the safety car came and I saw I think I was maybe P8 or so. Same strategy as everyone else. Okay, maybe we can make our way through here. But I actually ran a time trial setup, just default time trial setup the whole race because I just got a bit flustered at the start trying to figure out strategy. So I was a bit wary of my tyre pressures and had slightly higher wings than I wanted. I was going to go way low on the wings. So I didn't know if I could make the moves, but luckily it looks like other people didn't go too low on the wings either. So I was able to just hang with them in the straights.
Yeah, and how did you feel with Tiamat Marduk once again right behind your back for the race lead again? We see it all the time in Co-op Championship. We've seen it on numerous occasions on the Creator Series. How did you deal with the pressure? What were you thinking psychology-wise to keep Ben behind?
Honestly, obviously we raced together a lot. We know we're very similar on pace. I had slightly worse tyres and I was like, he's probably going to catch me here, but I've got to do qualifying laps till the end. My chat would be my race engineer. They were telling me my tyres going about 60% at the end. So I was like, don't need to worry about tyres too much, just go for it. But I felt like it was inevitable. And sure enough, he did catch me. And from there, it was all about just trying to battle. But we've had a few spicy ones in the past. Luckily, it was all clean today. I was worried about him the whole time. I know he's so consistent in the races. He really is. I was thinking if I can push him, maybe make a mistake, but he makes all his bottles in practice, unfortunately, not in the race. Sadly for me.
Well, excellent. And next week, Saudi Arabia for both of you. Are you going to be here, Alex Gillen? You're a bit of a reserve driver extraordinaire, aren't you? I
should have signed up, shouldn't I, hindsight? I mean, I didn't expect to make many weekends, but I actually am here next weekend, but not the weekend after that. But Yeah.
Confirmed good, because this week you weren't meant to be here, but the temptation of the Creator Series pulled you back in. Tim McMurdoch, really hoping that you don't come to some, but here next week at Saudi Arabia, and chance of a win there. How do you feel about that circuit?
Maybe if I start a lap down next week, would that help everyone?
Yeah, last to first challenges only for Alex Gillen. If you won every one, it would really make a mockery of the series, I feel. So
No. Obviously, I got a bit lucky today with strategy and stuff. Like, these guys are always so fast. Our pace is so similar at the front. You saw it with the DRS train there towards the end when Ben was working his way through after the last safety car. It's so close. So, I mean, my record is somehow second, first now in this series, but. I podium is always my aim. Any higher is a bonus, to be honest. So yeah, we'll see next week.
Final question: what's with the fish helmet? What is with the fish helmet? It's got to go. It's got to go. The fish helmet is the worst, isn't it?
I'd like the meme helmets. I mean, what's the worst helmet? If you can tell me a worse helmet than the fish helmet, I'll put that one on.
I don't want you to do that. It's a Christmas pudding helmet for sure.
Yeah, actually, I did remove that. Actually, I couldn't have that. By the time it was like February, I was like, I've got to get this helmet.
It's gone too far. It's gone too far. But yeah, excellent.
It gives him extra downforce. That
exactly. A bit of hacks from the fish helmet. That's why they put it in, probably. But yeah, well, thank you very much, both of you, for joining, and congratulations on the results. A podium for you, Tim McMurdoch, your first one this season. You can still be happy with that. It's points on the board, and we've got a long season to go, so I'm sure, lots of topsy-turvy races to come, and the championship order will change all the time.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
Guys.
Thank you. So I think that is the end of our broadcast. A little bit of housekeeping. Next week, Saudi Arabia, I believe we are starting earlier. I believe it is 12 o'clock because there was a potential clash of qualifying with the real qualifying. So I believe it's 12 o'clock. I was looking through the Grid Finder post earlier. So make sure to tune in earlier. Follow us. Drop us a follow. We're on socials. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, all over the place. That's at F1 Creator Series. I'm sure Harry will drop in a Stream Elements link if it decides to work. Of course, we have lots of racing to go. Saudi Arabia next week, and after that, we are here every single week through to the midway part of the season, real life-wise, and of course the Creator Series going on. And I didn't actually save it. Oh no, I did actually do it. But after that, we are at Monza. So lots of races coming up thick and fast. Please get followed to the channel. And I've been Gareth Allen. That's Gareth Allen TV on Twitter. If you've not already followed me, really appreciate the follow. Badgerman, where can we find you? You've been excellent today, as always.
You can find me on Twitter at Badgerman TV, and of course on both YouTube and Twitch at Badgerman. Make sure the E is replaced with a 3 every time.
Excellent stuff.
The other one wasn't available.
Yep, fair enough. But that's the end of our broadcast. I think it's been another excellent race, the Creator Series, and great races up and down the field, great racing on track, and thank you very much. That is the end of this broadcast. Thank you very much for joining, and see you next week.